We take the guesswork out of it so you can move on. Go to atcopest.com. Trust ATCO for the solution.
Injured at work? Don't wait. Every day you delay can mean lost wages, delayed medical care, and more stress for your family. At Boxer & Gerson, we fight for people just like you. Construction workers, delivery drivers, factory workers, restaurant staff, hardworking folks who get hurt just trying to earn a living. We won't back down. We get results. You work hard, you deserve real help. Call Boxer & Gerson now at 510-835-8870 or visit boxerlaw.com. The consultation is free, but waiting could cost you. Boxer & Gerson. Justice for workers.
Thinking about spring cleaning? It might be time to spring clean your body. If you're ready to burn fat, build muscle, gain energy, and finally feel balanced again, Jumpstart MD has you covered. As your local trusted provider, they offer affordable GLP-1 weight loss, hormone therapy, and a full line of vitamin and nutrient injections. All at the lowest prices in the Bay Area. Seriously, don't wait to refresh your health this spring. Call 855-JUMPSTART or visit jumpstartmd.com and mention radio for a free B12 shot when you book your first visit in March.
Looking for lifelong financial guidance? Look no further than Pettinelli Financial Partners, your dedicated financial coaches for every stage of life's journey. Whether you're planning for retirement, starting a family, or buying a home, we're here for you every step of the way. Visit PettinelliFP.com. The financial consultants at Pettinelli Financial Partners are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Stratos Wealth Partners, a registered investment advisor. Stratos and Pettinelli are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Come on. No. It's just a golf lesson, champ. Listen up. I can't. See that Hyundai Santa Fe? Yeah. I only paid to... Finish up on your own. I gotta run.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on the Hyundai Tucson, Tucson Hybrid, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid. Now, during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hurry, offer ends March 31st. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Live from downtown San Francisco, this is 95.7 The Game.
Appliance in Pleasant Hill. It's Mark Randy and Sam Lubman with you live here on 95.7 The Game for the once yearly red tag clearance sale here at Freedman's Appliance. Great deals on new appliances, and we got a lot of sports to talk about. Giant season is underway. Warrior season is winding down. Before we know it, it might be over. We shall see. Sam, good to be with you from 12 to 3 here live from Freedman's Appliance. This place is already buzzing. There's great food, live working vignettes. They're cooking on these kitchens with these appliances, and they're making food for you to try to convince you to come over and buy these appliances. I can speak for myself. It's working. These appliances are amazing. The food is great. This is one of my favorite days of the year, being here at Freedman's Appliance.
Hello there, Mark, and it's great to be here at Freedman's. And I was making the laps, and I did one of my favorite things when couple of my favorite things I like to do when I come to these Friedman shows. I believe this is my third or fourth. I love going into the walk-in fridge in the back, just because I love being able to walk into a giant walk-in fridge. I don't know, that's a novelty that's very exciting to me. And then also I got to pay a visit to my favorite barbecue ever, which is the $19,000 grill that is parked outside. I come by it every year because I just love the absurdity of a barbecue that costs $19,000.
Hey, you get what you pay for.
I would hope. I mean, at $19,000, like, does it cook it itself? Does it go out into the field and take out the cow and chop it up and prepare it that way? At $19,000, I feel like it should. It's beautiful here at Freedman's. Walking around the vignettes, the live working vignettes, they are vignetting very, very well on this beautiful afternoon out here in Pleasant Hill. So if you're driving around, if you're in the Pleasant Hill area, just off of 680, get off at Monument, come by, say what's up to us. Come eat some of this food. Come get a picture with us. Come talk some sports with us. Giants, Warriors, Niners, Sharks, man. Oof.
Yeah, and if you stop by, you'll probably see Steiny mulling around. Plus, we're going to have Jim Kosmo join us, as always, here, not in person, but over the phone. So we'll get to pick Koza's brain, of course, about his kitchen, which is full of appliances from Friedman's Appliance, but then also, of course, about all things Bay Area sports.
He's got the
and some March Madness as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, he has one of the things I'm most jealous about with Jim Kosmo is he has one of those big green eggs, Mark.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They always post us
about it.
They always post us up right next to the big green egg, and one of these days I will own one of my own. They're a little bit pricey, unfortunately. I'm about a humble radio worker, Mark, but one of these days when I'm not living in an apartment either. My apartment building, I think, is anti-grill on the deck.
Probably.
Understandable, with the rules there, but I always love asking Koz, and I will be asking Koz this. What are you cooking in the big green egg this weekend? So I live my big green egg dream vicariously through Jim Kosmo.
Yeah, if you're looking for a big green egg, if you're looking for an oven, if you're looking for
there's a washing machine with its own internet.
Washing machines, sinks.
Like my phone asked, do you want to connect to the Wi-Fi from this washing machine? And I'm going to connect to Freedman's guest, but the washing machine comes with its own internet.
Yeah,
What's faster, washing the clothes or its internet service? I don't know.
The point is that this place has everything you could dream of in terms of anything appliance or appliance adjacent, and this is their once yearly red tag clearance sale. It's now through tomorrow. It began yesterday. Today, of course, Saturday. It's going on tomorrow as well. So stop by Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. Take advantage of factory direct prices, one-of-a-kind opportunities, special pricing on floor models, and convenient financing. Plus, save on new appliances from trusted brands like Miele, Bosch, Electrolux, LG, and Maytag. Again, it's the Freedman's Appliance once yearly red tag clearance sale. Began yesterday through tomorrow right here at Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. Sam and I will be here until 3 o'clock. Sam's going to take off and head to the ballpark right after.
The grind does not stop.
I'll probably hang around for a bit after, and maybe, there's also beer on tap. You could have a glass of wine. Like, there's a lot of things that you could do here. So, not going to drink while I'm working. But once I'm off the air, I might pour myself a pint. So stop by, enjoy yourself. You can say what's up to us as well. But
just make sure you get an Uber home, Mark. I'm sure you saw the news yesterday. You don't want to be driving around under the influence these days.
True.
Shout out Tiger Woods, though he wasn't drinking yesterday. He was
under the influence of something else.
Under the influence of something else. But and I didn't think we would start off with Tiger as the first sports mention here, Mark, but it is, and I shouldn't make light of it, Mark, but at the same time, this is like the third or fourth car accident that he has been in, and it sounds like he's going to be okay, and the new mugshot got released last night, but it's one of those days, Mark, where for the most part, I don't like social media because I think it's just so much nonsense and drivel on it that's made our society so much worse. But then certain events happen, and Twitter reacts in a way that makes you realize, no, you cannot get rid of social media. The first thing I saw on Twitter after the Tiger news broke was Tiger Woods is both the best driver and the worst driver in all of history. And it's just like, my God, Internet, y'all have no chill, and I love you for it.
Yeah, and the Internet is also kind of going crazy about the Giants right now, Sam, and I figure that's where we should start.
Yep.
The season's underway. Of course, there was the opening night Netflix festivities on on Wednesday. They were off Thursday. They played game 2 last night or yesterday. Didn't really matter if they were on Netflix or they were on NBC Sports Bay Area. They weren't scoring runs. They had 3 hits in a shutout loss. On Wednesday, they had just 1 hit, a 2-out second-inning double by Elliot Ramos. Yesterday, they go scoreless. It's the first time in Giants history they do not score a run in each of their first 2 games of the season. And for this to be the beginning of the Tony Vitello era, although it's not Tony Vitello up there striking out and not putting the ball in play or not getting a run in with a runner on third base and 1 out. It is kind of an inauspicious beginning to the Tony Vitello era, whether or not it's his fault or not. It doesn't. You're going to hear a lot of Tony Vitello stuff no matter what happens, good or bad, because he is the biggest story about this team. And fair or not, he's going to face some criticism because his team hasn't scored a run in 2 games.
No, and again, the whole feel and attitude that I got when I went down to spring training, Mark, was that there is a new energy and vibe around this team. The players really seem to be responding to it well. And I swear, Mark, that was going on because, and I say I swear because if you watch these last 2 games, you know, the Giants slogan, it's nothing like it. Well, these last 2 games has been everything like what we've had the last couple years. It looks
and worse.
And worse even. The offense looks basically like it did, last August at times. The pitching's been good so far, other than the 1 bad inning from Logan Webb. The bullpen, other than 1 bad pitch from Jose Butto, has been holding up so far. But
yeah, bullpen's been fine.
Offensively, it has been very, very dismal in these first 2 games. It's not just the back-to-back shutouts to start the game, Mark. 4 total hits in 18 innings of baseball against the New York Yankees. Mark, I told you before the show, I already spoiled this, but do you know how many teams in the history of Major League Baseball have started their first 2 games off with 4 or less hits?
4 or less hits in consecutive games?
To start their season.
2 games with 4 or less hits?
To start their season, yes. It's happened.
But you're talking about net in 2 games, not in each individual game.
In the 2 games the Giants have played to start their season, I probably could have worded this question better. In the first 2 games to start their season, the Giants have 4 hits. Only twice in Major League history has a team had 4 or less hits in their first 2 games of the season. That is the 1909 Chicago White Sox.
Oh, we got to go back over 100 years.
In the 1953 Chicago White Sox. So apparently it's a big thing to do this in Chicago, 4 or less hits. What's crazy, though, is that 1953 White Sox team actually won one of those games. They got 3 hits and 1 run across their first 2 games, and somehow they won that game.
Crazy.
This is all to say that there's Steiny. This is all to say that if you were at the ballpark yesterday, Mark, you got to see a little bit of history.
You got to see history.
Which is, maybe that's fun.
Show up to the ballpark, and you're going to see something maybe nobody else has ever seen before. You just hope it's something good that you've never seen before. For the Giants, it was not something good. I mean, you wasted a great outing from Robbie Ray, encouraging that Robbie Ray came out and was shoving the way that he was. The Giants
no walks.
have questions in their pitching staff. They have questions in the bullpen, so you're going to need a good season from Robbie Ray. It's a given that you need a good season from Logan Webb, and he got roughed up on Wednesday. It's whatever. It's Logan Webb. It's not going to mean that he's suddenly forgotten how to pitch. He's going to have a good season as he always does, and if he doesn't, whether it's because of the way he pitches or injury, the Giants will be in major trouble. But
he is,
the same thing for Robbie Ray is he's going to have to be good because you've got questions beyond that in terms of this pitching staff. You're going to see the debut of Tyler Mahle as a Giant today at the ballpark as they hope to avoid a sweep. And then you're going to see Landon Roop, and you're going to see maybe the Giants actually skip a couple of spots in the back end of the rotation because they had a Thursday off, they have tomorrow off, so they could bump Logan Webb up if they really want to. But you're going to see Adrian Hauser as well make his Giants debut at some point. But you're going to need Robbie Ray to at least make like 25 starts again this year, Sam. And I know that he was amazing for the first half of last year, kind of tailed off a bit towards the back half, maybe because he hadn't thrown that many innings in quite a while coming off of Tommy John. It's a given. You need your top 2 guys to pitch well. And if there is any positive to take away from the first 2 games of the season, it is that Robbie Ray looks pretty darn good once again.
Yeah, and again, the big thing from him yesterday, no walks from him. That was an issue for him last year. early on in the season where he was issuing a lot of walks, but he's still getting out of a lot of trouble in those games. It was a concern that we addressed later on in the year, but absolutely, again, 5 1/3 innings from Robbie Ray through 89 pitches.
Yeah.
The fastball was looking really good for him yesterday. The slider, I think he was having a little bit of issues with it. I don't think it was hitting exactly the way he would want it to. That being said, it's early enough the year. It's just the first start. Just give me positive results. You absolutely got that, because you said between Webb and Ray, they are going to be the tone setters here, and
they have to both make like 30 starts.
Oh, absolutely.
You got it.
Mark, I think you need to get at least almost 400 innings combined pitching from those two this year. And Logan, he's going to be able to hit 200 innings.
Oh, he always does. He'll probably lead the National League in innings.
Yeah, he'll easily get to 200 innings. He could probably get to 210, maybe even push that number a little bit higher. He's determined enough to do that. Honestly, he could probably hit 220 innings, and I would not be shocked about that. I think he has that drive. I'm not worried about Logan Webb one bit. With Robbie Ray, though, he's another year removed from Tommy John surgery. He had 180 innings last year. If he could bump that up to maybe 190 or even close to 200 innings this year, that would be massive, not just for the load it takes off of the rest of the starting rotation, but the load that it takes off of the bullpen as well. And there's a lot of question marks on this Giants bullpen. Question marks don't need to be a bad thing. Question marks just mean there's an unknown. They could be good, it could be bad. It's like Schrodinger's bullpen. It's both good and bad. We won't know until we take it out of the box and throw it out there. But it does start with those two. Love the positive start from Robbie Ray. Hopefully that continues into today with Tyler Mahle. Yankees are sending Will Warren, the right-hander, to the mound today.
He was pretty good last year.
Yeah, and of course, Giants have never really seen Will Warren before. As I look at the previous matchups here, the only guy with any sort of success against Warren is Elliot Ramos, who's 1 for 2 in his career against today's starting pitcher. So a lot of unknowns with today's starting pitcher as well.
Yeah, at least he's not a lefty, though. It is a righty, Will Warren, and you think the Giants are going to be a little bit better against righties than against lefties. At least that was the case last year. We'll see what happens this year for the Giants against a pitcher like Will Warren. But the bigger issue is, as we're talking about, of course, is the offense so far, and they've trotted out the same lineup through the first 2 games. Tony Vitello said post-game yesterday that he's going to likely tweak the lineup. He's talked about how the top 6 in their lineup is pretty interchangeable. They went Arise leadoff, Chapman 2, then Devers 3, Adames 4. Has Adames been cleaning up?
Yeah, Adames been the cleanup.
Then Junguli and then Ramos in the 6th spot. That's been the top 6. And he has said that those 6 are kind of interchangeable. My issue with the Giants lineup, Sam, isn't that they don't have good hitters. They do have good hitters. It feels like they've got hitters hitting in the 2, 3, 4 part of the order, where they should probably be hitting in 5, 6, 7 part of the order, and they don't have a leadoff hitter. I know you are a fan of Luis Ariz in general, and I don't think he's a bad baseball player by any stretch, but he is 100% not a leadoff hitter. I
agree with that.
And Matt Chapman in the 2-hole doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either. Chapman should be hitting like 6th, the bottom of that grouping, those main 6 bats in the Giants order. So we're probably going to see a change in the lineup. Obviously, we're making decisions and we're reacting to the worst that we're going to see this Giants lineup play basically all season long, with 4 hits in just 2 games and no runs. But there is no doubt that this is not a perfect lineup. We can make the case it's one of the better Giants lineups in quite a while. That part of that is because it's a relatively low bar to clear for the Giants in recent memory. But there's no doubt they have more talent in this lineup than they have had in a long time. You just got to find the right combinations, because I don't think the combination of Ariz and Chapman in the top of the order fit all that well.
No, I agree with you, Mark. And again, Luis Ariz, we've had arguments about him. There's been a lot of passionate arguments about him at the station. I do believe what Ariz does, he brings something to the Giants I think they've really been lacking over the last few years, and that's just a guy who can keep the lineup moving. A guy who just put the ball in play, get a hit, keep the conga line going, moving along, because so many times, Marco, these last few years, the Giants have had situations where they're maybe putting together a rally, so to speak. They're getting guys on base, but then someone comes up to the plate where you're just like, well, we tried. Maybe next inning we'll do better.
Well, Ariz will put the ball in play, but it's not like he's a crazy on-base guy. I don't buy into the idea that he's a keep-the-line moving guy. He's a I'm not going to strike out guy. Which
well,
is
again,
the Giants need that.
If you're
absolutely.
if you're leading the league in hits and hitting close to 300, you're moving the line along as well as anybody in the league these days.
But your on base percentage is nowhere near the top of in the Giants lineup.
Yeah, and that's why
he doesn't draw walks.
And that's why I don't think I would put him in the leadoff spot. He also doesn't have the speed to be in the leadoff spot.
Absolutely not.
I know speed in the leadoff spot is kind of something people are going away with these days. I think the Phillies put Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff spot, but when you can hit the ball
all last year,
yeah, when you get the ball 600 feet, I think you can kind of do that a little bit.
He also draws walks and gets on base at a really high rate. Even though he hits like 200.
If I were to rework the Giants lineup a little bit, again, I don't think I would put Luis Arias in that leadoff spot, and I would probably do something like, I wonder if they maybe go back to like an Elliot Ramos leading off here, because I don't think Jung-Hoo Lee is really set for the leadoff spot. I've kind of resigned myself to that fact. As much as I would like to see him be that leadoff guy, it's just probably not going to happen. So you could do something like Ramos leading off, then maybe Willie Adames hitting second, Rafi third, Chapman fourth, and then where you go from there could be interesting, because maybe you do Bader fifth, and then maybe Arias comes in around that sixth spot there, lower in the lineup. We're moving the lineup along is a little bit kind of, it's more prudent for him to do that rather than being a table setter. And then also the other thing is, can we see Gerard Encarnacion in the lineup? You know, they made all this effort to keep him on the roster coming out of spring training. Bryce Eldridge is in Sacramento right now, in part because they still believe that Gerard Encarnacion can produce in this lineup. Let's get him in the lineup today. It is a righty, though. He's supposed to be able to hit lefties pretty well. They didn't get him in against any lefties lately. So maybe Gerard seventh, Bailey eighth, and then I'd probably put Jung-Hoo Lee in that ninth spot, because while he may not be a great leadoff hitter, the bat-to-ball skills, I think, are there for Jung-Hoo. If you could have him kind of help turn that lineup over in that ninth spot to set up the big boys, maybe that's a lineup combination that works better. Again, when you think tweaking the lineup, that was the thought I had come together last night when I'm thinking about what I want this lineup to look like. Mark, I don't know, if Tony Vitello came to you and said, hey, Mark, I really need help putting this lineup together. You mind helping me out with getting this done? What would your suggestion be?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of move away from the norms of speed at the top of the order, and I just go with whoever I think is the best hitter and your guy that you believe can get on base the most. So I want to stack the top of the lineup with my best hitters, but I also want my best power guys to be behind the guys that get on base often, so they have an opportunity to drive in runs. But I don't want it to be too far down the lineup. Like, obviously, like back in Barry Bonds' days, he would hit cleanup every single time, and that was just the way of the world back then. But it's not that way anymore. I think you're spot on with Ramos leading off. I know that he did that at times last year, and the returns were so-so. It wasn't great, but I think it's kind of by default because you don't really have any other options there, in my opinion. At least Ramos has some speed, can put some pressure on the defense, and, I mean, was an all-star last year. I know he wasn't as good in the second half of the season, and I think most Giants fans remember his mistakes on the base paths and in left field. You kind of remember that before what he did offensively. He was pretty good offensively overall last year. So
20 home runs last year, 80 RBIs.
One of the Giants' best hitters, consistent hitters, not necessarily their best power hitter. He didn't hit 30 bombs like Adames did, and he's not going to hit as many home runs this year as Devers, I wouldn't expect. But I do expect him to consistently be one of the Giants' best on-base percentage guys, and so I think I'd probably hit him one, and then I'd put Devers in the two-hole just because I want as many Devers at-bats as possible, and there will probably be a handful of moments where you get Ramos on base and then Devers maybe with a gapper and drives him in. So that would be the top two. I think beyond that, it's I don't know, probably Adames in the three-hole, and then, I mean, maybe that means you have to put Chapman cleanup, and then you go Arias 5 and Jung-Hoo Lee 6 or something like that. But I don't know. I think you got to fix the top of the order, because right now with Chapman and with Arias, you just have with Arias you have a lot of soft contact, and he's not getting on base a lot. And I think that's generally who he's going to be. He's going to hit near 300. That's what he always does, but he's not going to draw a lot of walks. His on-base percentage is going to be lower than a lot of the other Giants hitters. And then Chapman, I just can't have that much swing and miss in the two-hole. Yeah. I can't have that. So I'd probably go Ramos and Devers in my top two. And then from there on, it probably doesn't matter all that much. I just got to get the top part fixed fixed so you can get a couple of your guys on base consistently.
You know, we both of us here, we put Willie Adames in the top third of the lineup here. You had him third, I had him second in my little lineup here. I wonder for maybe some to consider is that maybe Adames is a guy you put lower in the lineup in that 6th spot maybe. Maybe you bump Bader up. Maybe it's Arias in that top
maybe
third
at least
of the lineup.
early in the year for Adames.
Yeah, because
that's what he does. He gets up to slow starts.
And I've heard a lot of people say it, on the morning roast, weekday 6 to 10 with the Joe Spadoni and Shasky. Both of them at various points this week have said the Giants cannot afford to have Willie Adames start off slow this year.
You better find a way to afford it, Giants.
Yeah, I got bad news for you, Giants fans. He's going to be starting off. He's going to start off the year slow in April. I remember we asked him about this at the end of April last year. He had a good game in the first week of May. And we asked him about it. It's like, why do you always start off so slow in April? And what I really appreciate about Willie, and it's one of the many reasons why I do really like Willie Adames on this team, and he's become one of my favorite guys as a fan of this team. But he was just so open about, like, yeah, I know I suck in April. One of my friends was asking me the other day, hey, man, why you suck in April? He's like, I don't know, man, I just suck. But, when May comes along, I just turn it around. I did like how open he was about acknowledging it, because I think some players, it'd be very easy for them to like, just trying to find my swing, trying to get things going, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of random cliches and stuff like that don't really answer the question. But he's just open about it. Now, being open about it doesn't excuse it, but I think it might have been Roger Craig who said this. It was one of those things where it's just like with certain players, when they're getting off to a slow start, I know they're going to get their numbers, so I'm not going to worry about it. And you look at what Willie Adames did last year, he did get his numbers. He did. At the end of the day, he had the kind of stat line that the Giants were paying him to get.
The cynical Giants fan will say, well, you got those numbers with the bases empty and 2 outs, and you did a lot of it when the team was out of a playoff race, is what the cynic would say.
Another cynical Giants fan could say is that you pushed those numbers in September to get there, which is also, I think, very fair to say. But let's not forget, Willie had great stretches in May and June of last year. He had great stretches in the summer of last year. That all being said, I do think it's at a point where maybe just to kind of lengthen the lineup a bit or maybe take some of the pressure off him a little bit, if you bat him lower in the lineup, I'd be curious to see how that combination could work. Again, moving Bader or Arias into that top third, have Willie kind of lower down there, kind of protecting that middle of the order, so to speak. I don't expect that to be done, by the way, but as we're tossing lineup ideas out there, that is another one that I would not shake a stick at the Giants considering that.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is your guys just got to hit. And we're going to play some Tony Vitello sound, probably coming up in about 10 minutes when we come back from a break that we got to hit here in a few minutes. He mentioned that he's likely going to change the lineup up. We will get a lineup at some point while we're on the air here in the next couple of hours. So when we do get it, we will, of course, let you know what it is. The thing with Adames is last year the slow start was, understandable. You're still not excited about it and terribly happy about it, but he signs the largest contract in franchise history, is touted as the first all-star to be first all-star position player that's willing to come here and sign a long-term deal, and so naturally there's a certain level of pressure that's on him. And so that seems like a fair explanation for what last year was, at least in the beginning. But beyond just last year, this has happened in all of Willie Adames' career, where in April and in May, he just, for whatever reason, struggles. So the Giants, I get what the guys in the morning show were talking about, and maybe some callers saying this as well, that the Giants can't afford that.
It's fair to want him to not get off to a slow start.
But I will say the Giants are much more equipped this year to make up for Adames struggling early than they were last year, because this year now you have Devers in that lineup from the very, very beginning.
Yes.
And you hope that Matt Chapman doesn't swing through everything that he sees like he has through 2 games. So we'll see where they go from here. I'm not too worried about Willie Adames. He's going to get his numbers. It's a question of exactly in what situations he does come through in. But I'm also a little concerned by some of the approach at the plate through a couple of games. It feels like there isn't much of an approach. They're going up there without much of a plan. They're trying maybe to do a little bit too much. They're swinging too hard. Runner on third base for Adames in that first inning on opening night on Wednesday.
He tried to plant it.
And he swings through it and easily struck out. And then Jung-Hoo Lee, a weak ground out, and the threat is over. And the Giants haven't come close to scoring since that moment in the other 17 innings.
Of the game.
In the other 17 innings that they've played so far this season, they've had a runner to second base, and that's it. And that runner with second came on a 2-out double. So they didn't didn't really have that great of a scoring opportunity in that moment either. So bottom line is these guys have to hit. They're going to at some point. Breaking news, they're not going to be shut out every single game for the whole season. That would be kind of amazing if it were even to come somewhat close to that. It's not going to happen, of course. It's not going to happen, of course. Maybe they score today. We'll see about that one. But I just got to see more solid baseball. Just put the ball in play, advance a runner over, just take a little out of your swing, go the opposite way, line one between first and second. Like, just do the small things, and everything else will follow along.
And also, guys, let's just breathe a little bit. Let's just.
Well, that's what we got to talk about next.
I know, and maybe that's what we got to talk about on the other side, because Tony Vitello, who.
He kind of admitted to maybe he's not letting his guys breathe enough.
I've been enjoying Tony so far. He is very interesting to listen to him talk, the things that he says. I think he gets a little too honest sometimes, which I appreciate, but maybe sometimes you don't need to do that. But I do think there is a level of, let's just, team and fans alike, let's just calm down a little bit. There's 160 of these left, and you are going to be told by at least 100.
They're driving me crazy through two. I don't know if I can survive 160.
Oh, well, I got bad news for you, Mark. You're going to have to.
Well, Tony Vitello did make some news, I guess, is the best way to put it, post-game last night.
New lineup just dropped.
So we will take a listen to what Tony Vitello had to say. Plus, we do have a Giants lineup, and we'll get that to you when we come back as well. All right, we are live at Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. That's Sam Lubman. I'm Mark Randy. This, of course, is Freedman's Appliance once yearly red tag clearance sale. Take advantage of factory direct prices, one-of-a-kind opportunities, special pricing on floor models, and convenient financing, and save on new appliances from trusted brands like Miele, Bosch, Electrolux, LG, and Maytag. We are cooking here at Freedman's Appliance. Stop by, enjoy some fresh cooked food, treats, a whole lot more. We'll come back. We'll talk more about the Giants and Tony Vitello as we return right here on 95.7 The Game, live from Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill.
Aftershock, the West Coast's largest rock, metal, and punk festival, returns to Sacramento this October with My Chemical Romance. When you got me what you want to know, we'll carry you. Tool. Limp Bizkit. Pierce the Veil. Plus, Suicide Boys, Queens of the Stone Age, The Offspring, A Day to Remember, Wu-Tang Clan, Sublime, Danny Elfman, Baby Metal, Public Enemy, Circa Survive, and so many more. 4 days, 135 plus bands, 5 stages. Aftershock takes over Discovery Park October 1st through 4th. My Chemical Romance, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Pierce the Veil. All 4-day, single day, and premium passes are on sale now, starting at only $1 down. Get yours at AftershockFestival.com.
High five! Up top! Dave's company just got the 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Yeah! It's 5 years of gig speed internet, advanced security, and a great rate that won't change. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Heck yeah! He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread. Yes! The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee. Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping. Woo! For a limited time, now through March 29th, switch to Comcast Business to lock in your rate for 5 years and get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Or ask how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Don't wait. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. Paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account required. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Hey, it's your boy Guru. When it comes to pest control, don't guess. Go online and get the facts with Atco Pest Control. Atco is a family-owned local company that's been protecting the Bay Area homes for over 40 years. And quality service does not have to come at a crazy price tag. If you're dealing with ants, spiders, rodents, or anything crawling where it should not be, visit AtcoPest.com. That's ATCO Pest.com to learn more and schedule service today. Atco's got you covered.
March matchups are in full swing, and now you can trade the tournament in all 50 states on Kalshi. Will we see more upsets? Purdue is trading at 31% to beat Arizona tonight. That means a $100 trade pays out $307 if they win. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as odds move, you can buy in and out of your position all tournament long. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FAN to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
In sports, success is about team effort, and the same is true for your hair. At Great Clips, we save your haircut details in clip notes, so every member of the highly skilled team knows exactly how to create your signature look. And with our easy-to-use app, you can check in from anywhere and get a ready next text when you're up next for a cut. It's the confidence of a great haircut delivered by a team you trust. Download our app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Hey, it's Howie Mandel, and I am inviting you to witness history as me and my Howie Do It gaming team take on Gilly the King and Wallow 267's $1 million gaming in an epic Global Gaming League video game showdown. 4 rounds, multiple games, 1 winner, plus a halftime performance by multi-platinum artist Travie McCoy. Watch all the action and see who wins and advances to the championship match against Neo right now at globalgamingleague.com. That's globalgamingleague.com. Everybody game.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Make spring mornings fresh and flavorful at Kiki's Breakfast Cafe. Treat the whole family to fluffy, famously large pancakes and rich, fresh brewed coffee. Fresh starts at Kiki's or order to go at Kikis.com. For a chance to win a gift card courtesy of Kiki's, enter at 957thegame.com.
Do the codes thing and just say the cart number.
Now back to 95.7 The Game.
Yeah, welcome back. It's Mark Randy, Sam Lubman with you live from Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. You might be wondering why. Well, of course, because it's their once yearly red tag clearance sale. You can take advantage of factory direct prices, one-of-a-kind opportunities, special pricing on floor models, and convenient financing. You can also save on new appliances from trusted brands like Miele, Bosch, Electrolux, LG, and Maytag. This sale lasts all weekend long. It began yesterday, today, plus it's tomorrow. And the best thing about this sale, Sam, is that you get to see their appliances, their grills, everything in action. And right outside to our left, they got all the grills and the barbecues working, and you can try pizza ovens out there too. You can try some wings. You can try chicken. You can try. They've got some, I think, like some tacos out there with some pork.
It's got everything out there.
They got everything out there, and then you walk inside, and they got all the ovens and the stoves firing. There's some freshly baked cookies. I've got some shrimp here to my left.
Yeah. We just had some lovely or yummy panna cotta with a mango puree topper, courtesy of one Want to start her out? Chef Chelsea Myers over here. She's one of the head chefs here at Freedman.
Okay.
She does classes and everything. I was walking around. She's like, "Hey, what do you want?" I'm like, "Hey, well, what do you cook up right now?" It's like, "You want some panna cotta?" I'm like,
Absolutely.
I have no idea what that is. You know, feed me.
Sure,
Let's
yeah,
go.
I'm in.
She took a couple out, and that's kind of what we stuffed our face with during the break. So I want to make sure I give Chef Chelsea her shout out.
Shout out Chelsea. We appreciate it. And yeah, the best thing about this place is you hear, I'm sure if you're in the Bay, you're listening to us, you listen to and you watch a lot of sports. I imagine you've seen and heard a lot of Freedman's Appliance commercials before. What they say in their Freedman's Appliance commercials is live working vignettes. And honestly, before I showed up here, I didn't really know exactly what a live working vignette was, but the second you walk in on a day like today, you know exactly what it is, because they have their showrooms where they have these kitchens full of their appliances that they're selling, their fridges, their sinks, their stoves, their ovens, their microwaves, everything. And what a live working vignette is, it's like a real working kitchen, and they're cooking on all those appliances in those kitchen showrooms, and that's how they're showing off how good these appliances are. And so there's just a bunch of food for anybody to walk in and try and realize, oh,
I need to redo my kitchen. Yeah.
It tastes that good if I make it on that stove? Okay, I'm in. Which is why you're probably going to see us stuffing our faces at various times over the next couple of hours.
Oh, absolutely. Again, every time we walk in, someone's got some sort of meat in their hand, whether it's a rib, a wing, or a sandwich or something. The amount of smells going on, I'm seeing drinks being poured too.
Oh, yeah.
There are, your normal drinks, and then there are some of your alcoholic drinks that you can have here. And as you mentioned in the first segment, Mark, we will not be partaking in those alcoholic drinks because we are working professionals.
Come on.
But if you get here right now, you played Where's Waldo when you were a kid, right? You read those books?
Yeah.
Well, what if you did something similar, but instead of Waldo, it's a Matt Steinmetz? Somewhere here in these hallowed halls of Freedman's Appliance is one Matt Steinmetz.
He might be hanging out in the walk-in fridge.
He might be in the fridge. He might be where they're pouring the beer. So, go play a fun game. Come down to Freedman's Appliance and play Where's Steiny?
Or you could make it more difficult on us and grab some of the barbecue going on outside, walk inside, stand right in front of us,
and just nash it right in front of us.
Oh, thank you. We have to talk, and we can't eat right now. But yes, I see you enjoying that wing. Thank you very much. You can poke fun at us.
To quote Steve Kerr, don't do that.
Don't do that. Yes, Steiny. Don't do that, Steiny. All right, this is Lubman and Grandy with you from Freedman's Appliance. We're here until 3 o'clock. Stop by, say what's up, enjoy the food, and buy yourself an appliance. They got great deals going on appliances right now. If you want to join the conversation, 888-957-9570. Plus, we got the YouTube chat up and rolling, youtube.com/957 the game to join in. We've been talking about the Giants and 4 hits and no runs through 2 games, and how Tony Vitello is talking about changing his lineup around. He has, because we do have a Giants lineup for today, game number 3 of the season. And Sam, it looks like this. Jung-Hoo Lee is leading off. So Jung-Hoo Lee's been moved up to the leadoff spot. Matt Chapman stays in the 2-hole. Luis Ariz hitting 3rd. Devers is hitting cleanup. Ramos hitting 5th, Adames 6th. So that's
just saying, last segment he should be hitting 6th.
That's the same top 6, just in a different order. Those guys all have hit top 6 in each of the first 3 games. Harrison Bader hitting 7th, Patrick Bailey 8th, and then Casey Schmidt 9th, with Tyler Mahle making his Giants debut on the bump. But Jung-Hoo Lee leading off. Chapman still in the 2 spot, then Ariz, Devers, Ramos, and Adames. That's the change for Tony Vitello and the Giants.
So Willie in the 6 hole, down with that. Rafi in the 4 hole, going with the more traditional, your best power hitter is in that cleanup spot there. I kind of like him in that 2 spot. I agree. I want more Rafi Devers at-bats. Casey Schmidt in the 9 hole. That's kind of an interesting one, because Schmidt, he's solid hitter, a little some swing and miss in there, but a pretty solid hitter there. I kind of like him there in that 9 spot. He probably thinks he's a better hitter where he could hit higher in that lineup, and I would agree. But that being said, I like him there to be able to turn this lineup over, get the big boys back up, hitting again in those situations. Jung-Hoo in the leadoff spot. Last year I was banging on the table saying I want Jung-Hoo Lee leading off. I don't know how I feel about that anymore, just because the results just aren't really there. I want to see more speed from Jung-Hoo Lee. I think he can be a speedster. I think he's a guy. He was never really a guy who stole a lot of bases in Korea. But he's a guy the challenge I would put on Jung-Hoo Lee this year is, can you be more of a factor on the base paths? Because I do think he is built to run fast. It's just a matter of, can he actually harness that build and do something with it? Because, Mark, the Giants at some point, ever since they moved to Oracle Park, they've kind of, ignored the stolen base. At some point, they have to, if they are going to play small ball, if they are going to try and take advantage of this ballpark's dimensions and win with, timely hitting, gap-to-gap hitting, pitching, and defense, part of that is you are going to need a little bit of speed. And I'm going to need to see that a little bit more from Jung-Hoo Lee if he is going to be the leadoff hitter a majority of games in this season.
Yeah, Jung-Hoo Lee is, I think, in terms of like a classic leadoff hitter, he fits that profile the best just because of what you're talking about in terms of his speed. But frankly, what I've seen from Jung-Hoo Lee at the plate in his first really one full season plus a little bit his rookie year, I don't think it's been good enough to hit in the top 3 of any batting order. I just don't think he's on base often enough. He'll hit for some extra base power, particularly doubles, a fair amount of doubles, 31 of them last year, so that's not bad at all. But I don't know. I want somebody who's going to get on base more often than not, and Jung-Hoo Lee, that's not his strength. He strikes out a lot. He still does. And I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that in particular. But we'll see how it works out. Maybe he's made some adjustments, and he will come around. But the Jung-Hoo Lee in the leadoff kind of feels to me a lot like Luis Ariz in the leadoff, where it feels like he is kind of a classic leadoff hitter, but he's really not. I don't think it's. I would guess we're going to have a change in that relatively soon as well.
Yeah, and again, it's at some point Ramos will probably be tested off in the leadoff spot. Maybe they give Bader a shot in the leadoff spot. They might even put
Devers leadoff just because he gets on base a lot.
It might be an option, too. Maybe if Willie Adames pulls out of his funk, maybe you put him in the leadoff spot once you get him out of the lower half of the lineup. But this kind of comes into an issue I have with this team right now, Mark. And, we were talking to Dave Fleming earlier this week, and we asked him, do the Giants have to make the playoffs this year for it to be a success? He said yes. And I feel like it's a big ask for a couple reasons. One of those reasons is I do think is it a better team? Yes. Is it a better lineup? Yes. There's still some flaws, though, with this team. That being said, one of those is that, as we're kind of figuring out right here in this conversation, there is no clear-cut leadoff hitting option. This is kind of a flawed lineup here with guys who, have weaknesses that you can easily exploit. This is a lineup full of guys who you kind of need them to stay healthy and have more or less career years if you want them to have success. Harrison Bader, I think, fits that mold. When he is good and healthy, he could be a very pesky hitter. When he is good and healthy. He was healthy last year. Can he keep it going this year? I don't know.
He's been banged up in spring a little bit.
The way he's moving right now, I wonder how the hamstring is feeling for him right now. It's like we're going into Game 3, and we're already having health concerns about him. That kind of concerns me a little bit. So this lineup, these hitters, it already feels tenuous going into the third game of the year. Lots of time to turn it around, but it's just it's too early, though, to be having these kind of like, oh, man, what are we going to do conversations.
Well, it might also be too early to be having some of the conversations that a lot of Giants fans are having about Tony Vitello. It also might be too early for Tony Vitello to be talking about how crazy things are right now. Let's hear from Tony Vitello, who spoke, of course, post-game yesterday after the Giants lost 3-0 and were shut out for the second consecutive game to begin the season. First time that has happened in the history of the Giants organization. Here's Giants manager Tony Vitello on the Giants only having 4 hits in 2 games so far. Here's the manager of the Giants.
Good players. I'm glad they're in our dugout. And I think, throughout the year, a couple of those guys, in particular, 2 of the lefties there, are pretty versatile on what they can do. It's kind of similar to what we've done in recent history. Most of the guys are fairly familiar with the spot they've been in or have had success at different times. And then overall, just trying to go with balance. I think, if anything, just doing an interview, talking about putting a stamp on team and things like that. Opening day more than ever, what the coaches are trying to do is find out what we got. Obviously, there's all the fanfare and all those things. If you took a step back from how exciting this day is, what you're trying to do is figure out what you got, what you need to do, where you can improve, what are maybe some areas you got to cover up that might be a weakness. But as far as, again, the stamp thing or just the immediate future is let the guys play. I got a recruiting background, and you're always looking for thoroughbreds. I've seen more in the opposing dugout and been around more at practice than I've ever been a part of in my life. So when the game starts, the people that are tuning in will get their money's worth because there's a lot of them on the field. And I think if you had our preference, we'd like to stay out of the way and let them go at it and decide who's better just on this given day.
So that was Tony Vitello just talking in general. Zach, I want him talking about having only 4 hits in 2 games so far, and he mentions the fire and brimstone speech that he gave the team. Let me know when you have that one tracked down. Tony Vitello on having only 4 hits in 2 games so far. It's what he said post-game yesterday after the Giants lost, but essentially, Sam, we'll hear it in just a little bit as we get it situated in the back there, back in our studios. Mm-hmm. But essentially what Tony Vitello said yesterday was he gave him a pretty fiery speech before the season began, and he said, I essentially blamed myself for the struggles offensively because maybe I got them too fired up and I have them trying too hard at the plate. You have a rookie manager who is blaming the struggles of his offense through 2 games on himself because his preseason speech to get them fired up was a little too fiery, apparently.
Yeah, that's interesting again, Mark. Again, being in that presser yesterday after the game, it was. You're starting to see patterns kind of stick out in terms of kind of what he says, the examples he makes. Like, for example, this is the 2nd game in a row where he made a March Madness reference in regards to, the performance out there. But, yeah, in terms of the energy, I kind of wonder that Tony Vitello, again, he came from the SEC, came from Tennessee, where, what do they say in the SEC, Mark? Just means more. The energy, it's a little bit higher in the SEC, and he was known for being a very fiery presence in that dugout in Tennessee. If you need any, kind of example of that, look no further than what we saw from Drew Gilbert last year. That
crazy
I think
person.
You could, draw a straight line from the energy that Tony Vitello brings as a manager right to Drew Gilbert getting choked out by Matt Chapman in the dugout last year. I kind of wonder if maybe Tony is in real time kind of learning that the energy that you bring to the SEC is not the same as the energy that you bring to Major League Baseball, and that when you're a college coach, you're surrounded by a bunch of college kids who are half your age or younger. They kind of respond to your energy. You recruited them. You kind of told them, hey, come under my wing for these next, 2 to 4 years. Yeah. I'm going to make you a better baseball player. And these kids, they're trusting, a important part of their life by signing on to play with him. So there is a level of they're looking up to him and he's looking over them. He's looking out for them. His energy is imparted onto them. That's not the case here in Major League Baseball. These guys are professionals. They have their own kind of process in terms of how they get their energy, how they get fired up, how they go about their business. And this isn't to say that Tony Vitello has already lost the clubhouse. It's not to say that he's rubbing guys the wrong way or anything like that. This is all to say that I do think there is still a learning process that Tony Vitello is having in terms of just what it means to be a big league manager versus a college manager. And I think we all had to know there's going to be growing pains in this throughout the year. This is just what a part of that looks like. In a few weeks, if we're past it, you laugh and move on. If in a few weeks we're still having this conversation, well, yeah, the conversation is going to be a little bit different then at that point.
Yeah, so let's hear that answer from Tony Vitello. So, again, this is after yesterday's Giants loss. They lost 3-0 to the Yankees. They fall to 0-2. They haven't scored a run through 2 games. So obviously there's all this talk and drama about the lack of offense, 4 hits through 2 games and no runs. They lose both those games in his first 2 games as manager. And Vitello talks about all of that, only having 4 hits in 2 games so far. And he eventually references a speech that he made preseason. Here's Tony Vitello postgame yesterday.
I'd kind of put it on me a little bit, get all fire and brimstone a few days ago. And, I think some good words were shared, but I also think as of right now, it's a little emotional in there, and there's definitely a lot of try hard. So regardless of what the root of it is, you guys know the guys in the lineup as well or better than I do. There's guys that are fully capable in there. And at this point, one argument, again, I'll kind of use a bunch of dudes having a beer at a bar, the results or numbers look like there's not a lot of try hard, but kind of the old baseball adage, there's probably too much. And again, maybe that stems from that conversation prior to the season, or maybe it just stems from all the opening day fanfare being the home team. But regardless, everybody wants it to change. But there's a good chance there'd be some variance tomorrow based off kind of the numbers and obviously a new pitcher on the mound.
So, Mark, he says something twice there, a term that he used 4 times in his presser yesterday. He said try hard, which I thought was kind of interesting that he used that word, because when I think try hard, I think someone who's, putting out maybe a little too much effort, doing a little too much, overexerting to a point where they're, almost trying to overcompensate for other things. Being called a try hard.
There's a connotation of you care too much.
Thank you so much.
No one else is no one else cares as much as you are. It's not that serious. Take a chill pill. There's a connotation of that.
Who, as we're talking baseball right here, but who I think kind of gets that try-hard label thrown at them in a way that isn't positive?
Who?
Brandon Pajemski. I think he gets that label thrown at him sometimes, fairly or unfairly. I'm not trying to start a pods conversation, but
we'll get to it.
That's the comparison I'm making here. And I'm sure there's people out there rolling their eyes. Oh, great, another bunch of pods is out there.
That's not what Vitello means by try hard, though, in my opinion.
I think that's the connotation that comes.
That's the connotation. But what Vitello means is these guys are up at the plate and they're trying their best, and they're trying to hit home runs. They're feeling the weight of opening day, opening night. My speech to
pressing.
them, and they're pressing.
Yes, which
in baseball, you go up to the plate, you got to be relaxed. You cannot be over anxious.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was interesting that he used that term again 4 times. He used that term try hard, and I just thought that was very curious that was the kind of the verbiage that he was using to describe it. Again, maybe I'm nitpicking there. Maybe there are certain things that are just sticking out to me that I'm making a big deal about. But this is a long-winded way of saying, they looks like they're pressing at the plate already early on. And Tony mentions, that fire and brimstone speech. Did he fire up these guys a little bit too much here, so now you need to dial it back? He said later on, we'll play the cut at some point, that, a more relaxed team would probably bring about better results.
And that's probably true. Okay, look. Tony Vitello is a rookie manager. He's just managed 2 games, 2 regular season games as the Giants manager, as a major league manager. So we're going to go through a feeling out process with Tony over the next month or so until we kind of figure out exactly who this guy is, what he likes to do, the kinds of moves that he makes, where his baseball mind really rests, and all that. And we're going to find out from his players and the rest of his coaching staff in terms of the kind of managerial style he employs away from games, in terms of in the clubhouse. I think we already know a lot about that, just in terms of all the speeches that he gives. Eric Miller said the team has already had 10 times more team meetings and team speeches from their manager than they had at this point last year.
Interesting.
Which says probably as much about Bob Melvin as it says about Tony Vitello. Not that one is good and one is bad. There's probably a happy medium there.
Yeah.
But we know that that's who Tony Vitello is. In general, what Tony was doing there was taking the bullet for his guys. And that's ultimately what a manager should do, and it's what I want my manager to do, even if it's not deserved. And in this case, it absolutely was not deserved. This is not Tony Vitello's fault that Willie Adames can't put the ball in play, that Matt Chapman can't put the ball in play, that Devers is striking out almost every single at-bat other than the one hit he got on Wednesday. This is not Tony Vitello's fault. What I will say is I am a little concerned that we're 2 games in, and it feels like the pressure of losing just 2 measly games. I know it's not great, but if this was a 2-game set that was happening in the middle of June, we wouldn't be freaking out the way we're freaking out right now, because this was the first 2 games of the season. I would just recommend to Tony, not that I know anything about what it's like to lead a major league team, but I would just say don't let 2 games change what you think is best. Because if what you think is best is giving your team a big rah-rah speech to try to get them going and get them fired up, do it. But don't let 2 games and bad results in those 2 games make you feel like what you did there was wrong.
No,
I want Tony to be Tony, and 2 games is not enough for me to be like, change,
dial it back.
It's not working. Change it up. No, the players are going to hit at some point, and I want somebody that cares that they're the Giants manager, and Tony certainly cares about that. So I don't mind him taking the bullet for his guys, but I don't want him changing who he is, because I haven't decided that who he is bad for the team yet.
Oh, no, I wouldn't agree with that. Again, I think it's just part of the natural learning process of what it means to be a manager. And I think you kind of saw in the clubhouse afterwards, we were talking to Robbie Ray, and maybe we could play this, Zach, if you could. NK28, Robbie Ray talk about the emotions of this week. I'll throw to in a minute, because we did talk to Robbie afterwards, as we talk to every starting pitcher after every one of their appearances. And Alex Pavlich, I think, said, hey, Tony talked about there's a lot of tension in this team right now. Do you agree? Here's what Robbie Ray had to say in regards to, the high emotional state of this week.
I don't think so. I think, Major League players, I think that we can handle it. We can handle the ups and downs. It's just, one of those things that has happened the first 2 games. It's not ideal, but like I said, you got 160 games left. So what are you going to do with it?
So, again, we're Major League players. We can handle it. And I think the difference is, Tony, 2 games in the college baseball season. There's 60 games in a college baseball season. Losing 2 of 3 over the weekend in college baseball, that could knock you down in the rankings a little bit. You're not really, top-tier teams aren't supposed to do that.
And then you got to wait all the way till the next weekend to play again.
Exactly. Or you maybe get a game midway through the week against, Who Cares State, and you play them on Tuesday, but you're not throwing your big pitchers out for that one. The big series in college usually take place over that weekend, whereas the guys in this clubhouse, losing 2 games in the opening weekend of the series, that's a drop of water in the bucket when you're playing 162. So I wonder if there's a sense of Tony's used to losing 2 games in a weekend, meaning, being like a level 8 issue, whereas losing 2 games over the weekend in Major League Baseball, it's more of like a level 2 issue. And I think that this isn't a matter of I need Tony to stop being Tony. This is just a matter of, as you adapt to the big league level, these are the kind of small things that I think Tony's going to be adapting to. And what I'm very curious about, Mark, is where he's at right now, what he says after games, how he reacts after games. How different is that going to be come September when he's had a full season of basically learning how to be a big league manager under his belt? These are all natural growing pains that we're seeing with Tony Vitello. You had to know that they were coming. You would have liked for them to maybe rear their ugly head a couple weeks into the season, but you knew it was going to happen. We're going to get through them. There's a lot of smart baseball people around that ballpark right now helping them out, him out as well.
Yeah,
I think they'll get through whatever this small little crisis is here to begin the weekend. We'll get through it, and we'll have another crisis to react to.
I don't think it's even a small little crisis, and I don't think anything ugly about Tony is rearing its head. I mean, this is just the offense can't hit. And Tony's wearing it as a manager does, but this is not on Tony. This is not on Tony at all. I do think the way that he talks to the media probably will change relatively soon. But who he is, I don't want that to change, because clearly that's what Buster identified as the thing that he wants in this clubhouse. So I don't want that to change.
And that's the thing that the players pointed out a lot as well in the spring training.
Yeah. All right, time to break. We're going to track Steiny down. I think he's going to hop on with us next.
He said he's outside in the tents.
He's probably enjoying some
just buried in
some
wings right
or
now.
something, or maybe a slice of pizza, or maybe a taco. I don't know, but we'll find Steiny. He'll hop on with us. It's Lubman and Grandy with you. We're at Freedman's Appliance. Their once yearly red tag clearance sale through tomorrow. We'll tell you about some of the deals and why this place is so awesome this weekend. When we come back, as we continue, we're back with more next on 95.7 The Game.
Hey, it's Willard and Dibbs for Safeway. Enjoy these amazing deals for members. And as always, save up to 20% weekly on hundreds of exclusive offers from Safeway. Just clip the highlighted deals from the weekly mailer or click the deals in the For You section of the Safeway app to breeze through checkout. Tasty chicken wings, bone-in or boneless, from the deli, selected varieties, just $6.99 per pound. USDA Choice Boneless Beef Chuck Cross Rib Roast or Bottom Round Roast Mega Packs, just $5.99 per pound. I know it's spring, but here comes Dibbs to talk about autumn.
And I love a mega pack. Delicious autumn crisp green or red seedless grapes, just $2.49 per pound. For your clip or click special of the week, Signature Select Boneless Skinless Chicken Breasts Value Pack, just $1.99 per pound. Limit 2 packages.
Very well done. These and other great deals are available in the weekly mailer and the For You section on the Safeway app. Go to Safeway.com for more details, and Dibbs and I will see you in the aisles.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
Professional wrestling fans, the action continues every week. Watch TNA Thursday Night Impact every week on AMC.
It is like electricity flowing through your veins.
Don't miss the adrenaline, the drama, and the total non-stop action.
No one can ever be as good as this right here.
Don't miss the action of TNA Thursday Night Impact every week on AMC. For showtimes and more information, visit TNAWrestling.com.
Tune in every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. to hear The Morning Roast, hosted by Joe Shasky and Joe Spadoni, as they dive into the latest sports news to get your morning going. Presented by San Francisco Fire Credit Union, where everyone is treated like a hero.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Come on. No. It's just a golf lesson, champ. Listen up. I can't. See that Hyundai Santa Fe? Yeah. I only paid to Finish up on your own. I gotta run.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on the Hyundai Tucson, Tucson Hybrid, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid. Now, during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hurry, offer ends March 31st. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Ever dreamed of stepping onto the Warriors' home court with a glass of wine in your hand? Kendall Jackson, official wine partner of the Golden State Warriors, is giving you a chance to have dinner on the court at Chase Center. For info and a chance to win, courtesy of Kendall Jackson, visit 957thegame.com.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Against the Pacers.
Now back to 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. It's Grandy and Lubman at Freedman's Appliance here in Pleasant Hill, and we're joined by none other than Steiny, Matt Steinmetz of Steiny and Goo. You hear him, of course, 10 to 2 every weekday on 95.7 The Game. Steiny, I know this is a big weekend for you. It's one of my favorite weekends of the entire year. The Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill red tag clearance sale. There's so much going on. You've got a beer in hand. You probably had some wings, maybe a slice of pizza, some of the other good food going on here. Welcome.
Thank you.
What does this weekend mean to you, Steiny?
Well, it means another year has passed, and that means I love coming out. You know, so many things to get into right away. I was a little bit late, and where I was I was in the tent. However, it's not the NFL protocol.
Not the blue tent.
I was in the Danby tent.
Oh.
I may walk out of here with a standalone mini fridge at some point. I've been thinking about it for years, so today may be the day. Today may be the day, but another great day outside, great day inside at Freedman's Appliance. Though I made a rookie mistake. I can't believe I did this.
No.
I woke up this morning, and I cooked myself a good breakfast.
You know, I made that same mistake, too.
Why would you do that? You got to come hungry to Freedman's Appliance.
You know what it is? It's called lack of focus. It's called attention to detail. Freddie Hoiberg and myself, we've got issues, apparently.
I did not make that mistake. I came with an empty stomach.
I screwed that up, too, Steiny.
Yeah,
You and me were the same.
my bad. I'll overcome, but it was tough. So what are you talking about today?
We've been talking about the Giants so far because they haven't scored a run in 2 games, Steiny. You getting worried or what?
No, I'm not getting worried. I'm getting intrigued, though, because...
You like Vitello, I know that.
Well, I'm fascinated by the situation, and I'm going to harp on it all year. And the reason I'm going to harp on it all year is because everybody's going to harp on it all year. For example, when you've never done anything before, and it's never been tried before, everything you do is the first time for anything. So, for example, I wake up this morning, and there's a text from Guru, and he has something like, he has the word tension in quotes. He goes, why did he say that he's creating tension? Just say the bats are silent. And that's exactly what I mean. There's no... Is Vitello saying that good? Is he saying too much? Is he saying too little? Is it bad? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Every single thing that he does is either going to change your perception of him or affirm your perception of him, even though we're all working with a blank slate, and that's what makes it incredible.
Yeah, there's so much different places where you can go with him. There's so much new. I think there is a level of growing pains to be had with Tony Vitello. One of them is, you kind of touched on it. I do think that maybe he's a little too honest in some of these press conferences or in these media scrums that he has. You know, like I think at one point yesterday when he was talking about the lineup, he said, you guys know these hitters better than I do, to us, the media. And respectfully, Tony, I disagree.
You're their manager, Tony.
I think you do know more about the hitters than we do. Do you feel like there's a sense of over honesty there? And I kind of feel like, we want coaches to be honest with us, but then there's too much honesty, though, in this one.
Sam, I would say that's one aspect of it. To me, the grander aspect of it is as we learn more and more and more, we'll start sharing. He's sometimes on the field like a player, and he has a glove. That's one thing. They lost to the American All-Star team, or the
USA.
15 Team USA, and his dad said, "Hey, man, look how talented that team is." He said,
team.
"So what?" He's miffed about some of this. Clearly, he's miffed or questioning some media protocol that he either doesn't understand or thinks the other side doesn't understand. There's already himself acknowledging, maybe I was too fiery 3 days ago. So it's all that stuff. And the other thing that's just secondarily, to me, interesting is Posey hired him. This is a guy that obviously, clearly is very unlike Buster Posey. So that tells me, at least outwardly, so that tells me that Buster Posey, the decisions he makes, if he was gutsy for Buster Posey to go outside his comfort zone, because he had to, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. You say what makes you think he's very different from Buster?
Well, because I'm referring to Tim Kuhn's story on ESPN.
Buster
Great
was
story.
so reserved.
Buster said, "I was a psychopath on the inside.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This guy's a psychopath on the outside."
All right.
And so stuff like that, and even. Buster referred to watching Vitello coach at Tennessee, and he said, I watched those teams at Tennessee, and, it's not necessarily the way I do it, but look at the results.
Yeah, it absolutely worked. I think the thing about Vitello that is very, very apparent, and maybe it will get him in some trouble, this is where he probably has to, as you guys were talking about earlier, watch what he says to the media maybe a little bit more, maybe not quite be as truthful, or maybe tone it down in public just a little bit. But clearly, I think one of the reasons why Buster wanted him here is because the guy clearly cares a ton.
Right.
And you're talking about losing to Team USA, and he's pissed about that. Like, you lost to Aaron Judge and to Kyle Schwarber and to Bryce Harper and all these amazing. Paul Skeens was on the bump. Like, you're not going to win that game. I'm sorry, Tony, but the way that he handled the presser yesterday, taking one on the chin and basically taking the bullet for his bats that aren't working, I like that. But I don't like him questioning, like, maybe I shouldn't have given that emotional of a speech before the season began, because that's clearly who you are.
Yeah.
And I don't want you after 2 games kind of thinking about, well, maybe I shouldn't be fully myself. Because It's only been 2 games.
Right. And the other thing is, but if he comes out and says, hey, man, relax. Relax. This is baseball. Oh, okay.
Huh.
I thought he was the other way. So, in terms of being kind of fiery, I think it's obviously.
I like the fire.
What I love is.
need it.
What I love is I like that too. And when I was talking about, the Giants to me are going to be way more interesting than last year.
Oh, yeah.
Because of Vitello, and people say, well, nobody comes to see the manager. No, you're right. Nobody comes to see the manager. But in this kind of situation, he is so intertwined because he's, they have Bryce Eldridge. But this guy's, like, going to be more important than Bryce Eldridge this year. Like, Vitello's going to be the most important factor in the Giants, I think.
Most talked about.
Yeah, Devers. Well, but I'm just saying, okay, Devers. He's going to, let's say he hits 30 homers like he always does. If everybody's quote unquote
he's expected to do that
on the back of their baseball card, well, then it's all about Vitello. Then they better be winning. Winning games. Guys better be having in general good years rather than bad years, because it's all going to be Vitello.
Well, I mean, he was the big addition of this season. I think I was talking with Bonte a couple months ago, and he was asking me, like, what is the biggest story coming in? It can't be the manager. I'm like, well, I think it kind of is, because he was the most significant addition here, and they were, as Chef Chelsea comes over with more food here to provide us. Thank you very much, Chef Chelsea.
Thank
very much
you.
appreciate what you do here.
I got to go over and say thank you.
She is really good. She hooked us up with this panna cotta earlier that Granny and I just scarfed down very, very quickly. But I was saying something about Tony Vitello and the growing pains. I do think there are going to be natural growing pains that Tony's going to go through as he learns how to be a manager at the big league level. It's just a matter of, like, are we willing to kind of go through these growing pains and kind of whatever setbacks it could cause in the win-loss column in the process here, because, he's expected to be the big difference maker on this team.
Well, to me, what I really am going to be looking at is, okay, and it happens in baseball all the time. What happens when Devers is 1 for 22 and he's running out balls like we've seen him run out balls? What happens if, Ramos makes a couple plays on the base path or in the field that don't, what I'm interested in is how Devers deals with that, then how Vitello deals with that. Hey, you thinking of giving Devers a day off? Why would I do that? And then just watching how Vitello defends Devers or challenges Devers in the press, and then what Devers says about how he thinks Vitello's doing a quarter of the way through the season. And I'm just taking Devers. It's 25 of those guys. What was it the other day? Somebody said, Robbie Ray said something like, he knows how to be active. Or, we know he can do this. We know he's got energy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they just kind of look for that.
Yeah.
It's a big league ball. It's about establishing a level of play and kind of keeping it there. It's not about going up and down.
But so Vitello post-game yesterday essentially said, I blame myself because I put too much pressure on the guys with my fiery preseason speech. That's why they're pressing at the plate.
Okay.
And then Robbie Ray said, essentially when asked about what Tony said, he said, we're big leaguers. Like, we can deal with the highs and lows of an emotional season. And that's where it feels like maybe the Vitello experience wouldn't maybe necessarily click with all the veterans in a roster, because their veterans are like, chill out, Skip. Like, we know how this works.
So tell me what you think of this. This reminds me of Pajemski and Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr tells a story where the Bulls lost the game. Kerr missed some shots. He said to Phil Jackson, man, I cost this today. And Phil said, relax, dude. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen are on the team.
Yeah, you didn't lose this game.
Exactly. Like Pajemski.
Pajemski's rookie year said the same thing.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking about Rafael Devers, or a veteran, saying, dude, chill out, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Like, what it tells me is this guy thinks that after being here for 3 months, what he's done is going to change who I've been for 10 years as a player, because he gave us an emotional speech.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think's interesting. That's where I would come from it as a player.
Well, again, I think it's and Elliot Ramos kind of said something similar after the game. We asked him, he's like, it's 2 games. We just got to get going. I think Andrew Bagley talked to Pat Bailey yesterday, and he wrote in his story, like, Bailey is like, I think the quote was like, listen, I know you guys need to write stories, but like, chill out. Like, let's relax here a little bit. And I was telling Grandy in the last segment, losing 2 of 3 over the weekend in college baseball, that can kind of set you back a little bit in a 60-game schedule, especially, if you're playing for rankings. You're going to drop from, 5th in the rankings to 11th in the rankings if you have a bad weekend like that. That's what Tony's used to. And I'm kind of curious to be like, he's going to have a 7-game losing streak at some point. Hopefully not, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. At some point, you're going to go through a really rough stretch. Like, how is he going to handle those parts of the season? The Major League Baseball season is a long, grueling experience here, and that's why I think that obviously you want to see this team make the playoffs, because, they have 1 playoff appearance in the last, 9 years, and we don't even like to think fondly about that playoff appearance. But on the other hand, I do think there is a level of the number one thing that I kind of want to see happen this year is at the end of the year, everyone just feels comfortable with Tony as the manager. Most importantly, Tony feels comfortable with Tony being the manager. And then you kind of build off of that going forward. I don't think it's a stance Giants fans who want to see this team in the playoffs want to hear, but I do think it's a little bit of just the reality of where this organization is at, short-term versus long-term.
I don't think there's any doubt. Again, like, this is where Buster Posey, in his mind, has rationalized or overcome all the negatives about the hire in the first place. He was clearly willing to take everything that comes with knowing he was doing something for the first time. So I think what you want to do is playoffs, of course, but I think what you want to do is come out of this year where there's a general consensus that, hey, you know what, this guy's all right. This guy's coming around, or this guy, where there are more votes of confidence among the fans and the media internally than questions,
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Steiny, and we'll let you get out of here in a minute, and we'll let you do your laps again here around Freedman.
Yeah, I need my steps today.
Yeah, you got to get your steps in. You're not playing golf today. You're playing tomorrow.
Exactly.
I know that. The Warriors reevaluated Steph Curry yesterday, and the report and the reevaluation from the Warriors said that he's trying to get the green light from Rick Celebrini to scrimmage in the coming days, and that he'll be reevaluated at some point next week, although we don't know exactly when that is. I'll just ask you a simple question. Do you think Steph plays again in the regular season?
I'm starting to think no.
8 games left.
I'm starting to think no. So clearly that means that whatever's occurring next week, which they can now push to late next week if they need, will kind of be the last crack at it.
Yeah.
I feel like, because by that point, I got to believe there'll be 4 games left.
A week from tomorrow is the 5th to last game of the regular season.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we also got to remember, okay, the scrimmage goes well. Well, he ain't playing the next day.
No.
In fact, Sunday, he's probably, or the next day, 2 days later, they're going to be like, what do you think? And he's going to be like, let's go out and try it. But that won't be a game. That might be another push. And then the next day, if he feels good, then I think he would play. That's the way I would think they would do it if everybody in that organization is on the same page.
The language in the update was kind of interesting too, because they say the next anticipated step. They're very clearly keeping like everything open, and they're not tying themselves to anything for sure.
Right.
It kind of feels like their language and their tone has changed a lot in the last week.
Yeah, and I also think, obviously we were at Chase on Thursday, and Steph came in, didn't sit down with us. People are making assumptions one way or the other. But I don't think it's unfair to think about that. And I mean, here's a guy who, for 15 years comes to, in that situation, will sit down and talk. And he's done so in the past when he's been hurt. And we know that those times he absolutely came back. And I don't think I think what it told me is he's not sure. And the last thing he wanted to do is sit down. How's the knee? What are you doing? What do you think?
Are you coming back?
What are you going to try to do? Is it that, who would want to do that? Even one of the greatest spokesmen for the game, if he doesn't know, he's just going to be like, you ever see sometimes how frustrated, I don't know, Goo. I don't know, Goo. I don't know.
No, I
so
every day.
That's all I think about. He's just like, I don't want to deal with, I don't.
See,
you know what I mean?
I'm getting to the point where I don't think he's coming back at this point, because you guys kind of touched on best case scenario. If he is reevaluated, next Saturday, all right, get back on the court. Maybe he doesn't come back against the Rockets. So you probably got Kings, Lakers, Kings, Clippers. That Lakers-Kings is a back-to-back on a Thursday and a Friday. So he's getting 3 games basically getting ramped up for a play-in. And even if you do, what are you bringing him back for?
Right.
For the right to get stomped on by the Blazers in the 9-10 game up in Portland? I just, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I don't need to see 3 games plus a playing game from Steph and Curry. The only reason I think you want to get him back on the court is for you just see him with Kristaps. But I don't know, do you need to see him with Kristaps to know it'll work?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. Porzingis, to me, is becoming a very intriguing situation also, for the better, I might add. But, yeah, I also think, it's easy when Steph goes out with 39 games, he's played, and now we're down to, we get down to 25 games. Is he coming back? At 25 games, of course he's coming back. At 20 games. So while the time is dwindling too, I think what also happens is more of a reality sets in for Steph. Of course he thinks he's Superman. But, I mean, let's put the rat on the table, sponsored by Atco Pest Control. I mean, Steph Curry doesn't think the Warriors can win a title even if he comes back as Superman. I mean, come on. And so I think as hard as it might be for Steph, he's probably looking at this situation and kind of pulling a Ricky Waters, man, for who, for what. It's just probably not worth it.
Yeah, I agree. Steiny, we appreciate you stopping by.
Very much worth it.
What do you do with a zinger?
You should re-sign him.
For how long?
I mean, it depends what the negotiation is going to be. I think he would want as long as you possibly can.
I'm giving him a year. I'm not giving him $30 million.
Not for 1 year. I would sign him to a couple of years.
If you're going to sign him, I would not sign him to a couple of years. But I might sign him for 1 year and overpay him. So that, let's say
if it goes poorly, you're out quick.
You think somebody could give him their mid-year for 3 years? Hey, Porzingis, we'll give you 50 over 3. Or is that too low? He'll get more than that.
Honestly, I don't want to commit to really anybody past next year when Steph might not be on the team anymore, might retire. End of next season, I feel like that's the end of one era, the beginning of another. You know, I think Moody will still be under contract, and assuming he can play.
Right.
Guy, I think it's a 2-year deal for Guy, right? So I don't even think. Basically, there's so many contracts coming off the book. That just seems like a clean reset opportunity. So I don't want to commit to anybody beyond next year.
Did you hear what Porzingis said about Rick Celebrini?
No.
Called him the GOAT. I don't think Porzingis wants to be anywhere else because his career has flashed before his eyes, and where he wants to be is where he thinks he has the best chance to stay healthy. And if that's true, how he feels about Rick Celebrini, that's got to be here.
Well, then you have another year to really determine, to me, what you think of him. So, for example, if I'm saying right now 3 for 50, somebody might say, dude, he's getting more than that. Okay, then
go get more than that.
Maybe you think?
I don't want to commit to him for that long.
Right.
I think money is not that important to him at this stage of his career.
The years are what stand out for me.
So if I were the Warriors, we all know what their cap situation is next year, right?
Yeah. They have, I think, $30 million, I think, to play with because that deal.
But they're not going to be able to go big game free hunting or whatever, big game hunting.
Yeah.
But what if you tell Porzingis, look, here's what we'll do. If you think you can go out and get a multi-year deal, if you think you can go out and get, and he gets 3 for 60, he's like, I think I want to take 3 for 60. If I'm the Warriors at that point, I might say, we'll give you a 1-year, $30 million deal at that point. Because the money doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We'd say, what can we get you to stay for 1 year? What if you play 62 games next year and you average 20 and 8 and 7?
A lot more than
then you're going to get
50.
more than 360. Can you talk him into something like that?
Maybe some incentives on top of that.
Yeah, and then if he gets hurt or he plays 22 games, like no harm, no foul.
You're done with him in a year.
Next year we got issues already
with Jimmy. Yeah.
So that's some of the things. We blew the clock.
Yeah, we got to head out, but we appreciate you stopping by.
Absolutely.
There's a lot more to talk about. The Warriors are very interesting, although this season is going down slowly but surely. All right, that's Steiny. That's Lubman. I'm Grandy. We're live at Freedman's Appliance here in Pleasant Hill. You can stop by for their once yearly red tag clearance sale. Take advantage of factory direct prices, one-of-a-kind opportunities, special pricing on floor models, and convenient financing, and save on new appliances from trusted brands like Miele, Bosch, Electrolux, LG, and Maytag. Lubman and Grandy back with more next as we continue. We're live from Freedman's until 3 o'clock right here on 95.7 The Game.
Aftershock, the West Coast's largest rock, metal, and punk festival, returns to Sacramento this October with My Chemical Romance. When you got me what you want to know, we'll carry you. Tool. Limp Bizkit. Pierce the Veil. Plus, Suicide Boys, Queens of the Stone Age, The Offspring, A Day to Remember, Wu-Tang Clan, Sublime, Danny Elfman, Baby Metal, Public Enemy, Circa Survive, and so many more. 4 days, 135 plus bands, 5 stages. Aftershock takes over Discovery Park October 1st through 4th. My Chemical Romance, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Pierce the Veil. All 4 day, single day, and premium passes are on sale now, starting at only $1 down. Get yours at AftershockFestival.com.
Your home's equity. It's value you've already earned. That's already yours. But for too many homeowners, it's locked away. I'm talking about thousands of dollars just sitting there, not helping with today's needs, not helping with tomorrow's plans. That's where Unlock comes in. Unlock helps you access your equity through a home equity agreement so you can use your money for the things that matter most to you. So ask yourself this: how much can you unlock? Find out at unlock.com/home. Let's unlock yours.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Use home equity responsibly.
Picture yourself on the Golden State Warriors home court, wine in hand. Kendall Jackson Wines invites you to dinner on the court at the Chase Center on Saturday, April 4th. Enjoy an exclusive Q&A with a Warriors legend and ESPN reporter, Mark Spears. Then savor a dinner paired with world-class wines from Kendall Jackson and their esteemed partner wineries from across the Napa Valley and Sonoma County. Dinner on the court, Saturday, April 4th. Tickets are $250. Get yours or enter to win a pair at kj.com/Warriors.
March matchups are in full swing, and now you can trade the tournament in all 50 states on Kalshi. Will we see more upsets? Purdue is trading at 31% to beat Arizona tonight. That means a $100 trade pays out $307 if they win. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as odds move, you can buy in and out of your position all tournament long. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FAN to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Bay Area homeowners, when it's time to upgrade, start with quality that lasts. Marvin designs premium windows and doors, crafted for performance, durability, and beautiful design. And right here in the Bay Area, you'll find Marvin at Ashby Lumber. For generations, Ashby Lumber has helped homeowners, builders, and remodelers choose the right solutions for projects done right. Whether you're replacing a few windows or planning a full remodel, visit Ashby Lumber in Berkeley or Concord, or learn more at ashbylumber.com and ask about Marvin.
Hey, it's Willard. On Saturday, March 28th, Habas Law is covering the adoption fees for every dog and cat at the San Jose Animal Care Center. Right now, wonderful dogs and cats are waiting, some for weeks, some for months, for someone just like you. If you've been thinking about bringing a pet into your life, this is your moment. Join Habas Law and the San Jose Animal Care Center from 10 to 4 at 2750 Monterey Road in San Jose. Come meet your new best friend. Give a loving animal the second chance it deserves. For details, visit the San Jose Animal Care Center website.
Spring is finally here, and yes, it's time for some spring cleaning. I'm not talking about your house, but spring cleaning for your body. Jumpstart MD has you covered with affordable GLP-1 weight loss, hormone therapy, and a full line of vitamin and nutrient injections. All at the lowest prices in the Bay Area. Seriously, burn fat, build muscle, gain energy, and find real balance. Jumpstart MD is spring cleaning for your body. Don't wait. Call 855-JUMPSTART or visit Jumpstart MD and mention radio for a free B12 shot when you book your first visit in March.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I left the pizza box on top of my car before driving home. Not smart. Oh, and a semi just turned my deep dish into a thin crust.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Make spring mornings fresh and flavorful at Kiki's Breakfast Cafe. Treat the whole family to fluffy, famously large pancakes and rich, fresh brewed coffee. Fresh starts at Kiki's, or order to go at kikis.com. For a chance to win a gift card courtesy of Kiki's, enter at 957thegame.com.
Now back to 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back, live from Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. That's Sam Lubman. I'm Mark Grandy. We are live at Freedman's for their once yearly red tag clearance sale. This is, for me personally, one of the better weekends of the year because this Freedman sale is awesome. One, you have an opportunity to save a whole bunch of money on some amazing appliances. We got right behind us and to our right some washing machines. We got dryers as well. There's some barbecues and grills. You've got sinks across the way.
There's refrigerators out the wazoo in here,
including a walk-in fridge.
Have you gone in the walk-in fridge yet?
Not this time, but I have in the past.
It's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
It's actually pretty cold.
And and the way that it works here at Freedman's in their showrooms is they have real working kitchens that are using the appliances that they're selling here that are discounted this weekend, and they're showing you what these appliances can do in your kitchen. So we were just brought some lumpia from Chef Ethan, and they were delicious. Thank you to Chef Ethan.
Chef Chelsea brought us some garlic fries, and
very
know
good.
me, Mark. I'm
a big garlic fry
I
fan.
love my garlic fries because I'm a baseball guy. Check out the podcast, Garlic Fries and Baseball
and
Guys.
You're headed to Oracle Park here in a couple of hours as well, where they make some pretty good garlic fries too. So
been loading up on those.
They've got. I tried some prawns here to our left just a minute ago. Those were delicious as well. And outside they got all the barbecues and the grills going with wings and with pizza and all that. So this is a great spot to again save on factory direct prices, one-of-a-kind opportunities, special pricing on floor models, and convenient financing. And you can save on new appliances from brands like Miele, Bosch, Electrolux, LG, and Maytag. It's Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. Their Red Tag clearance sale today and tomorrow. It began yesterday, but we can't go back in time, of course. So today and tomorrow, your last chance to take advantage of the Freedman's Appliance Red Tag clearance sale. You know who else might want to turn back time? It's the Golden State Warriors, because they're just not looking good right now for the Warriors.
Boy, would they love to do that.
Despite the fact that they're on a 3-game win streak. Congrats, you beat 3 tanking teams.
You wouldn't know. I mean, I'm watching the game last night, Mark, and there's a moment I take a screenshot of the score. It's 94-92, and I send that score to to a couple friends of mine, and I put, one of these teams is actively trying as hard as they can to lose as many basketball games as they can. Meanwhile, the other team
is actually trying to win.
Insisting that they're trying to win every single game. Unfortunately, the team with 94 was the Washington Wizards, who are actively trying to tank. They just had a 16-game losing streak that they snapped earlier in the week, which thank God they did do that.
Yeah, that was Jazz Wizards, and the joke I made last night on the postgame show was the Jazz won that game. Because they actually lost. They did a better job at tanking.
Well, I'm watching this game last night. I'm like, the joke's on the Wizards if they lose. If they win this one, it's going to take them out of the top 5 of the lottery. You know, haha, joke's on you, Washington. But, I mean, that's just kind of where things are at with the Warriors right now. We're saying, yeah, we got the win, but it's like, listen, we did this with Jonathan Kuminga. I'm going to do it with Kristaps and the Warriors. It's just the Wizards.
It's just the Wizards.
It's
That's
just
true.
the Wizards. By the way, Jonathan Kuminga last few games has looked very the Jonathan Kuminga that was not playing for the Warriors.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
yikes there. But did like what I saw from Kristaps last time. I'm starting to see the vision of how Kristaps works with this Warriors team.
I feel extremely confident that Kristaps is back next year with the Warriors. Like, it feels almost like a done deal in my mind.
Really? It's locked in?
Obviously, it's not a done deal, and there's negotiations that has to happen. But we were talking about it with Steiny, and we have the sound. I'll give you a second to get it ready, Zach. But Kristaps, at practice on Thursday, was asked about Rick Celebrini, the Warriors' lead trainer, and the guy who leads everything in terms of their player performance stuff and everything physical and health related. And he had this to say about Dr. Rick Celebrini of the Warriors. Here's Porzingis at practice on Thursday.
Rick's amazing. Rick's the GOAT, man, really. So I'm very happy I'm working with these guys, and I'm sure they will keep me on the same path.
What makes Rick the GOAT?
Sometimes you don't need to share all the insights, you know what I mean? But he's really high level. He's really high level, and I love working with him.
Okay, so put yourself in Kristaps Porzingis' shoes. You've been a quality player. You've made a bunch of money in your career. But of recently, you've kind of had your NBA dreams ripped from you. And you felt like maybe at times your NBA career was over because you didn't know what the hell was gonna happen with your health. And we still don't really exactly know what's going to happen with Kristaps' health. But it's been more than just a year of him kind of living in this purgatory of, can I play? Can I not play? He gets traded to the Warriors, and there were some bumps in the road, particularly early, but he's now played in, 8 of the Warriors' last 10 games, something along those lines, and he's looked really good in the majority of those games, including last night was their best player, scored 28 points. He's been good of late. And so not only are you playing good, but you're just playing, period. And he says Rick Celebrini is the GOAT. So if I'm Porzingis, and that's the career that I've lived through, I'm valuing my health and my availability over anything else. And if he truly believes that Rick is the GOAT, I don't think there's anywhere that he'd rather be than here. It's probably even more important than, say, money for him going forward. And I think the Warriors desperately need him as well. So I think Porzingis is going to be a Warrior going into next year as well.
I mean, absolutely. The Kristaps is going to want to be on the Warriors, and if that's the situation, if he feels that they can keep him healthy, then it just goes to, do the Warriors feel like they absolutely have to have him?
I don't know what choice they have. It's not like you don't sign him and you get $30 extra million to sign a free agent. You can't do that. The only way you'd extend him is because he's yours. You can sign your own guys.
He's an expiring deal, is he not? So he is a free agent if they decide not to bring him back.
Yeah, but he's your free agent. You can re-sign and extend your own guys.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying if they want to let him go, I mean, they could use that $30 million to partition it to other players
not
as well.
Not if you're over the cap.
I think they are.
Cap.
Well, that's part of why, because they got off the Buddy Hield money too, which helps them get under the cap a little bit. I do believe they have some. I want to say they're $42 million under the second. I think they're over the cap, but they're under
so if
the first and second apron, and this is where CBA rules come into play.
If you're over the cap, you can't just go out and sign any free agent.
Okay.
You can sign your own guys because they are your own free agents. And you can go over the cap to sign your own guys. But let's just say the Warriors let Porzingis walk. The money that they would have spent on Porzingis, they don't just get that money to go sign anybody else.
I see.
You can sign him because he's your free agent. You can't just say, all right, I'm going to go out and sign X free agent for $30 million. You have to be $30 million under the salary cap to do that.
Okay, so I wasn't aware of that.
I don't think they have.
CBA,
I mean, you have Porzingis, or you have to fill out the roster on the margins.
Yeah.
The decision they have to answer is, do they think Porzingis is going to be healthy enough to be worthwhile? I think ultimately what they will decide is yes, partially because if you don't re-sign Porzingis, there's not a whole lot else you can do because you have so much money tied up with Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond.
Yeah, and I think then in that situation, then yeah, it probably does set up that Kristaps comes back. And again, as I kind of said, like I'm seeing how it could work. Like there's been times this year where, again, we haven't seen Steph and Kristaps play together, but we've seen Pods and Kristaps play together. Now Pods is not Steph. Want to make that clear. That's not what I'm trying to say here. But the way seeing Pods and Kristaps play together is like, put a better point guard out there too. I can see how that could absolutely work out. And if Pods and Kristaps can work well together, my assumption is that Steph and Kristaps should be able to work together too. And if you're Kristaps also, I mean, you got Rick Celebrini keeping you healthy, but you also have a chance to play with a guy who's going to give you more space to operate with than you've ever had before in Steph Curry. And last night, I mean, Kristaps, he was their best shooter on the floor by a long shot.
Yeah.
It didn't matter where he was shooting the ball. He was able to find a way to get it in. He is the stretch five, who could shoot the ball from three-point range center that the Warriors have been looking for since forever. And he fills that need. Again, I see the vision of how it can work. If they're really like, you know what, we don't need to see Steph and Kristaps play together this year to know it can work, I'm willing to go into next year and just, all right, let's see if we can make it work. And then we'll reintegrate Jimmy in halfway through the year. And come February 1st, we could be seeing a team out there with a healthy Steph, a healthy Draymond, returning to his health Jimmy, hopefully healthy Kristaps. That's a foursome there with the right, role players around him. Yeah, you know what? I'm curious to see what that group can do in a playoff chase and potentially in a 7-game series. I can see how that group with these role players around them, Pods, Gee, Post, Pat Spencer, and the like, that looks like a team that next year, dare I say a year from now, as maybe you and I are doing this, the red tide clearance sale at Freedman's this time next year, we're talking about a team that's playing out of the play-in box even potentially as look best case scenario. So I don't think the Warriors are delusional in what they're doing here. There is a path to where what they're trying to do might actually work out.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of ifs involved there, but that's the reality of the Warriors situation. You don't have any sure things, and not many NBA teams have sure things, but a team in the Warriors situation absolutely does not have sure things. But, the plan with the Porzingis acquisition from the beginning, and when I say the beginning, I mean as of almost 2 months ago when the trade went down. It hasn't been that long, but from that moment was get Porzingis in here, utilize Rick Celebrini and their training staff, get him healthy and playing, and then bring him back beyond this season. And if, let's just pretend for a moment that it works out and that they re-sign Porzingis and say he plays upwards of 55 or 60 games next year, like the trade that they pulled off would feel like, miracle is probably too strong, but would feel like a hell of a move because, and for me, you mentioned Kuminga and his numbers of late. Frankly, I don't even really care, and I don't mean that in a negative way to Kuminga. He could go out and score 30 points a night.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would change my opinion on Porzingis and the trade in general because Kuminga scoring 30 for the Hawks or whatever team he plays with in the future wasn't ever a possibility with the Warriors because
not this iteration, no.
Absolutely not. A lot of the blame belongs with the Warriors. A lot of it belongs with Kuminga. They share that, but it was never going to work here. So if that was the reality that the Warriors were facing when holding on to Jonathan Kuminga, the asset, I'm going to refer to him as an asset. I know that doesn't sound great, but Jonathan Kuminga, the asset to the Warriors, wasn't worth a whole lot. Mm-hmm. And if they turn that into the Dream 5 alongside Steph Curry and he plays, say, 55 or 60 games next year, like that is a return I couldn't have dreamt that was possible for Jonathan Kuminga, who was worth nothing to the Warriors at that moment. So there's obviously a lot of ifs and there's speculation there, but I feel pretty darn good about the way that trade is working out so far.
Wow, I guess we got to give Mike Dunlevy some credit then. Everyone's been wanting to throw Dunlevy under the bus.
The moves Dunlevy has made, I think for the most part, have been pretty good. Where I get frustrated is the moves that haven't happened. With Mike Dunlevy, but the ones that
which moves that haven't happened?
I've just been frustrated for years now about the promise of we have all of our assets, we have all of our draft picks, we can take a big swing when the opportunity presents itself, and that big swing has never happened. And I know somebody will say Jimmy Butler. It doesn't qualify as a big swing to me. That was a player that forced his way out of Miami, and all you had to give up was Wiggins and one first-round pick.
Philmo Mike walking into the building.
What's up, Philmo Mike? One of our best callers stopping by here at Friedman's Appliance here in Pleasant Hill. But so that is where my frustration comes from.
I think
the moves that haven't happened.
The Jimmy move is a pretty substantial move.
But it wasn't. It was one first-round pick, and it was Andrew Wiggins.
It was still. You still made the move happen, though. Did he send a bunch of assets?
It was a good move. I give him credit for that move.
I think it's a point for Dunleavy.
It is a point for Dunleavy. But I'm just saying that doesn't qualify to me as an all-in chip-send move. That's one first-round pick.
I see. So you're talking about let's package 3 picks and a bunch of guys, and let's go mortgage everything for Giannis. Is that the kind of the big move that you're
to sum it up in a singular move? That would be the mindset.
Yeah, yes. It doesn't have to be Giannis. There's other guys out there that might fit that bill.
But the Butler move, I think, was a good move. The Porzingis move was a good move. The Podziemski pick, his first pick as GM, was a good pick. Will Richard, a good pick. Quentin Post, a good pick. The
development of Guy Santos, I think, which has taken place under Dunleavy's watch.
Yeah, that probably has more to do with Kerr than Dunleavy. But
yeah. Well, again, that goes into Kerr can't develop, but I guess apparently he can with Guy Santos.
Yeah, so I think there's a world where we look back at the Porzingis trade and it's like, wow, considering there's always we're going to rewrite history in our own heads and we're going to forget exactly what precipitated the Kuminga trade, but the Kuminga value with the Warriors was worth nothing. And if they turn that into a player next year who plays 55-ish games for them and is playing the way he is right now, and you pair that with Steph and maybe Jimmy later on in the season, They got that piece, the Dream 5 next to Steph, for a guy they weren't playing. That doesn't really happen very much in the NBA.
No, and that would, again, it sets up next year to be kind of maybe a true last dance, because, again, I don't know how many years. Steph's contract is up after next year. Draymond's contract is up next year. Jimmy's contract is up after next year, which is why I think they will do a one-year deal for Kristaps, too. I think they're going to have all these guys attached to
probably
whatever ends with Steph, and I do believe that, next year is the last year that I think it's everything for Steph. I think after next year, at some point, you got to turn the page to the next era. That's tough to hear, tough to say. It's not, it's not a fun situation, the end of the Steph Curry era that anyone wants to think about. But he's 38 going on 39 next year. Draymond's 36 going on 37. Those knees are 74, though. Jimmy Butler coming off the ACL. Kristaps is the young guy of the group, and I think he's 31 right now. I'd be open to maybe Kristaps beyond Steph, but let's see how next year goes with this as good of a lineup as you're going to get around Steph Curry for him to close out his career. Because this is probably as good as it's going to get. I don't think Giannis is walking through that door anymore. I don't think there's a trade for, unless another superstar becomes disgruntled out of nowhere, I don't know who that would be. Like, I don't think a Zion Williamson is an option. I don't know who else is really out there at
Zion's
that point.
Been good this year.
Again, I would love to have Zion. I just don't know if there's a trade permutation out there that the Warriors can.
I don't think so either.
He's making $39 million. That's the thing about Kuminga, that like he was your best financial trade chip in terms of matching contracts. It is going to be really hard unless you trade Jimmy. It's going to be really hard to match any sort of contracts in a trade for a superstar with what they have on the roster right now.
Well, yeah, I mean it's Jimmy or it's Draymond and others is the way that it would work for something big. I think the major moves are done for the Warriors.
I agree.
Honestly. They're going to be involved in all those rumors, and you're going to hear so much of it this offseason. I hope Warrior fans are ready, because it's going to be, in terms of that, probably kind of infuriating, because they're going to be mentioned for Kawhi. They're going to be mentioned for LeBron. They're going to be mentioned for Giannis. And my guess is that none of that's going to happen. They're going to re-sign Kuminga, and they're going to go back into next year essentially trying to run it back and hope they get better injury luck. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. One thing that is interesting in terms of what next year feels like is how this year ends, because right now the biggest question around Warrior fans, Sam, is does Steph Curry come back? There are 8 games left in the regular season. There isn't a whole lot for the Warriors to play for because they have already clinched a play-in spot. The highest they could possibly climb is to the 8 seed.
They're 2 games back of that.
Really more like 3. The Clippers currently have the tiebreaker. It's not a done deal that they will, but they likely will have the tiebreaker. So you have to be 3 games better in all likelihood than the Clippers the rest of the way. And you compare schedules, the Warriors' schedule a lot more difficult than the Clippers the rest of the way. They're a half game behind the Blazers for the 9. The Blazers have the tiebreaker over the Warriors, so the Warriors would have to be 1.5 games better than the Blazers the rest of the way to climb to 9. The point I'm trying to make is you're probably 9 at very best, and that is relatively unlikely in my mind. 10 at very worst. And the clock is ticking on Steph having the runway necessary to come back for the play-in. So the question becomes, do we even see Steph Curry again the rest of this regular season?
Yeah, again, as I told you guys with Steiny, I don't think it's going to happen. I was holding out hope that it would. I was expecting him to be back after the All-Star break. Nope, not going to be back then. All right, I know, so naive. I thought he'd be back sometime in mid-March, and still, it's just not coming back. The knee's not getting healthier. He hasn't scrimmaged, and it's just every update that they have put out has further and further driven home that he's just not ready yet. And now we have this one that came out yesterday, Mark. The Warriors released several injury updates. Al Horford was part of this update. Quentin Post was a part of this update. Another Curry, Seth Curry.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that Seth's even on this team. There was an update with him, but the update for Stephen Curry, who has, again, missed the last 23 games due to a patellofemoral pain syndrome bone bruising in his right knee, a.k.a. runner's knee, was reevaluated today. The reevaluation indicated that Curry continues to make good progress, which, good Lord, I feel like I've read that in every single update they put out about
Seth
him.
Curry making good progress. Al Horford making good
Everyone's
progress.
making good
Quentin
progress.
Post, no good. Oh, yeah, making good progress.
Everyone's making good progress.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why Rick Celebrini's the GOAT. Making good progress and producing great hockey players. That's what Rick Celebrini does.
Just a filler line there.
Exactly.
Updates.
The next anticipated step in his return to play process will be a live 5-on-5 scrimmage in the coming days. He will be reevaluated again next week. That's not in a week. That's next week. So maybe it's next Wednesday, Thursday.
We don't know.
So much is up in the air, and
so much so that they use the word anticipated, which I think is the biggest word in this entire update, because they are hopeful. They're hoping. They're planning. At some point, the next step is he's going to play 5-on-5. But we promised that last week We said that a week ago, Saturday, exactly a week ago in Atlanta, that he was going to scrimmage on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
It's 6 days later. He still has not scrimmaged. So when the Warriors are drafting up this update, they say, you know what? Let's add the word anticipated in there because we're not really sure when this is going to happen.
You know what this reminds me of, Mark?
Or if it's going to happen at all.
You know what this reminds me of? You're a child in the 90s, so you grew up watching, the weekday cartoons or the Saturday morning cartoons, or you probably watched like X-Men, the animated series.
Yeah.
And those episodes, there'd be like 3-4 episode story arcs in that show. And, the show would end with, Apocalypse is about to fight, Wolverine. And it's like, all right, let's fight. To be continued, next week. That's what this feels like. It's to be continued next week. All these cliffhangers to get you to come back for the next episode next week. So it's like Steph Curry is off the trainer's table. He's heading out to the gym where there's a scrimmage going on. Is he going to participate? Tune in next week. Next week's episode comes out. No, he didn't actually do the scrimmage. But he is, working out on the court. Is he going to get back on and do some activities with other players? Tune in next week and find out. And it's just, they're dragging this along, trying to get us to buy in that he might come back. It feels like a tease at this point. Which is what we like to do here on the radio. I get you can't wait to hear what Jim Kosmo has to say next when he joins us here on the River Islands guest line. So they're stringing us along here, and because they want us. The Warriors don't want people to tune out on this season, and I just hate that that's all what it comes down to. They're stringing us along to keep us invested.
I don't think they're stringing us along. They just don't know what's going to happen. They're being truthful.
I think they do kind of know that he's not coming back, but they just don't want to say it yet. Or maybe they want to say it, but Steph doesn't want to say it. Maybe Steph's the one who wants to keep the possibility open.
Steph wants to play.
Yeah.
He absolutely wants to play. But like Steve Kerr said, and he said this very explicitly, we're not just going to bring Steph back for the play-in. He needs a runway. How long that runway is, we don't exactly know. Nick Friedel said on Thursday, 5 games maybe is the runway. And the 5-game mark is next Sunday. But those final 5 games, that includes a back-to-back. And is Steph very quickly after coming back of 2 months off, is he going to play in a back-to-back? I don't know. Probably not. That means he's only going to have 4 games to play before the play-in if he comes back for that Sunday game next week. So we will see. I don't think the Warriors are treating this like an entertainment entity, and they're saying, well, just stay tuned. Steph's coming back at some point.
Tune in next week to find out.
I think they're just at a point where they don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And they're being truthful. They're saying anticipated next step because that's what they're anticipating, but they don't know for sure. But I don't know. We're in an interesting spot, and we'll talk more about this as we continue. It's Grandy and Lubman with you live from Freedman's Appliance here in Pleasant Hill at their once yearly red tag clearance sale. You can stop by, take advantage of factory direct prices, one-of-a-kind opportunities, special pricing on floor models, and convenient financing, and save on new appliances from trusted brands like Miele, Bosch, Electrolux, LG, and Maytag. Visit Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill for their red tag clearance sale today and tomorrow. You can say hi to Lubman and I. We're here for the next hour, so stop by, say what's up. And coming up next, we've got Jim Kosmo, who's going to gush to you about his kitchen, which is full of appliances from Freedman's Appliance. That's what's coming up, and then Lubman and I will talk more about the Warriors and maybe preview that Giants game coming up a little bit as well. As we continue, 1 hour left with you from Freedman's Appliance. We're back with more with Jim Kosmo coming up next on 95.7 The Game.
Hey, it's Willard and Dibbs for Safeway. Enjoy these amazing deals for members. And as always, save up to 20% weekly on hundreds of exclusive offers from Safeway. Just clip the highlighted deals from the weekly mailer or click the deals in the For You section of the Safeway app to breeze through checkout. Tasty chicken wings, bone-in or boneless, from the deli, selected varieties, just $6.99 per pound. USDA choice boneless beef chuck cross rib roast or bottom round roast mega packs, just $5.99 per pound. I know it's spring, but here comes Dibbs to talk about autumn.
And I love a mega pack. Delicious autumn crisp green or red seedless grapes, just $2.49 per pound. For your clip or click special of the week, Signature Select boneless skinless chicken breasts value pack, just $1.99 per pound. Limit 2 packages.
Very well done. These and other great deals are available in the weekly mailer and the For You section on the Safeway app. Go to Safeway.com for more details, and Dibbs and I will see you in the aisles.
So
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
Come on, kids. We're almost there. The map says straight ahead.
One-a-day 50-plus multivitamins are made for your overall health, with nutrients to support your brain and muscle function. Because don't you want to make the most of each day? So even on the family hike, you're not just keeping the pace.
Hey, Dad, wait up.
You're one step ahead. One-a-day 50-plus. The one for you. This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This Saturday, March 28th, Oakland shows up. The Oakland Roots face Orange County SC at the Coliseum. It's Kids Night Out, fun for the whole family. Kickoff at 5 p.m. Get your tickets now at OaklandRootsSC.com or watch on KTVU Plus or ESPN Plus.
In sports, success is about team effort, and the same is true for your hair. At Great Clips, we save your haircut details in clip notes, so every member of the highly skilled team knows exactly how to create your signature look. And with our easy-to-use app, you can check in from anywhere and get a ready next text when you're up next for a cut. It's the confidence of a great haircut delivered by a team you trust. Download our app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I left the pizza box on top of my car before driving home. Not smart. Oh, and a semi just turned my deep dish into a thin crust.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Ever dreamed of stepping onto the Warriors home court with a glass of wine in your hand? Kendall Jackson, official wine partner of the Golden State Warriors, is giving you a chance to have dinner on the court at Chase Center. For info and a chance to win, courtesy of Kendall Jackson, visit 957thegame.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Now back to 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. It's Mark Randy, Sam Lubman with you live from Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. It is one of the best weekends of the year because it's their once yearly red tag clearance sale. You can stop by, take advantage of factory direct prices, one-of-a-kind opportunities, special pricing on floor models, and convenient financing. You can save on new appliances from trusted brands like Miele, Bosch, Electrolux, LG, and Maytag. And you don't get it just like walk in and look at what the appliance would do for you in your home, in your kitchen, in your laundry room. You can also taste what it would do for you because they are using these appliances that they have on great deals for you. They are cooking food on them for anyone to walk in and try. And I don't know if I've tried every bit of it so far, Sam, but what I have tried so far, it's all delicious. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with anything in this store.
No, everything has been absolutely delicious. Shout out to Chef Ethan and Chef Chelsea who brought some food. The lumpia, that was great. God, the garlic fries hit. I just grabbed a lemon pepper wing on the way back from the walk-in fridge. I just had Steiny do a little tour for Filmo Mike of the walk-in fridge in the back there.
That's amazing.
And Steiny, I mean, he could literally be an employee here the way he's showing these things off. But, yeah, I grabbed a lemon pepper wing on the way back, and ooh, man, that hit hard.
You know who else can be an employee based on how much they know about this place? That is Jim Kosmo. You know him, you love him. You used to hear him here on these 95.7 The Game airwaves, not just voicing the Freedman spots, which you hear all the time, but doing shows specifically on the weekend. I remember
Scrub Sundays.
Kos and Whitey, those were the best shows back in the day. Missed those days for sure. But he's now joining us on the River Islands guest line, as he always does, for the Freedman's Appliance once yearly red tag clearance sale. Kos, it's Grandy and Lubman with you. One of the best weekends of the year. Am I wrong?
Guys, I'll tell you something. You're making me miss home. I'll tell you. I love that weekend over at the red tag sale over at Freedman's, and you guys have described it perfectly. And Steiny's out there having a great time, and the people are listening to you, and they're driving up 680, and they're getting off the freeway in Pleasant Hill, and they're rolling in and getting some stuff. Hey, if you just go for the food, like you guys said, if you just go for the food, you've made a successful journey to Freedman's.
Yep.
Exactly. And Kos, again, it's not a complete Freedman sale unless I get to look at the appliance that I want the most in my life. It's the appliance that I'm most jealous of that you own. It's the Big Green Egg. I told Grandy I live my Big Green Egg dreams vicariously through you. What are you grilling up on the Big Green Egg this weekend?
Oh, that's a great question. It's so funny because I was looking around my house, and I was looking at all the different things I have in my house as I got ready for this conversation that I've gotten from Freedman's, whether it's the built-in coffee maker from Miele, whether it's my fridge from LG, whether it's my mini fridge from Electrolux, whether it's my my dishwasher from Bosch. I've gotten everything. But it's the Big Green Egg, guys, that I really dive into. And tomorrow night, my wife is away this weekend, so I'm flying solo. Tomorrow, I will be making her super hot, super fast, really fast grilled filet mignons on the outdoor grill with baked potatoes as well. I get that thing up to about 650 degrees.
Wow.
Then I put those bad boys on there for a minute. I give them a little half twist. I put another minute, turn it over, minute, and I shut it down for 3 minutes, and that thing comes out a perfect medium rare. So the Big Green Egg is the way to go. I know, it's great. Whether you're doing spare rib, whether you're doing pizza at 700 degrees, whether you're slow smoking it with the ribs like I like to do. But you're right, guys. It's the Big Green Egg is the definite way to go. And if they've got them there, you got to jump on a Big Green Egg.
Well, Kos, I knew I could trust you. I'm just glad to officially know that you know how to cook a steak. Medium rare is the right way to go.
Thank you. You know what? So many people, whether there are some traditionalists. Am I right on this, Grandy? Some traditionalists say, it's got to be super rare. I go to see, what's the old joke from, it's got to have March where the jockey's hitting me. Which I don't know if that flies right now. Super rare doesn't work for me. And anything over medium rare, I think, is shoe leather. So you and I have got it right. Medium rare is the only way to go.
absolutely. Medium rare for me.
Hey,
Awesome.
Finish it with garlic butter. Finish it with garlic butter.
Anything with garlic is a hit with me, Coz.
I know. That last minute, you put a big chunk of garlic butter on top of that steak and let it melt down into that filet mignon. You are going to thank me later.
Oh, I want to thank you right now just for putting those thoughts in my head. It's making me really honey. But you bring up garlic, Coz. You know me, I love my garlic, and I got some garlic fries sitting in front of me, and it reminds me of the garlic fries I've had at Oracle Park over these last 2 games, Coz. And I know you're living out in Nashville now, but I know you're tapped in. Have you been following anything what's going on with the Giants? And I'm curious, your thoughts on the fact that the Giants are going with a fresh-faced college coach as their manager this year.
From Tennessee.
From your stomping grounds right now. Well, I'm kind of curious, what was the buzz like out there in Tennessee when Tony Vitello got hired by the Giants? And just what are your thoughts on this grand experiment that the Giants are doing here?
One, I think it's a fabulous experiment. I think it's a real outside-the-box look from Buster Posey. So let's start with that. I know it's been a slow start through 2 games. But it's 2 games. If these were 2 games in July, we wouldn't be on the hot seat right now, just getting all antsy. The thought out here was, first and foremost, it was crazy disappointment, right? Here's a guy that brought the state of Tennessee a national championship. He brought baseball in Tennessee back on the map because Vanderbilt used to be the team of Tennessee. Now the University of Tennessee had that baseball element. It was all because of their they call him coach, but manager Tony V, right? He's a big personality. He's a guy that's the face of the program, and he did a great job in recruiting his own guys and building a great program. Now, when he left, there were a lot of volunteer fans who were really down, right? They thought, oh, man, how could he leave this program? He's built it up. But since then, the Giants have picked up thousands and thousands of new fans living in the state of Tennessee. Because we are all – I was at a function the other night, and everyone knows that I used to be in the Bay Area. We used to talk about the Giants. I used to do their pre- and post-game shows on NBC Sports Bay Area. And they would come over to me and say, hey, what do you think of Tony V and the Giants? Or they were watching the other night. I was at a dinner party. Someone said, can you turn the game on? I want to see Tony V's first game against the Yankees. So there's a buzz out here for the Giants because Tony V is there. And the expectations are high. I know it's a slow start. But let's start with getting some runs tonight against the New York Yankees. Let's see if we can grab some runs and see what we can do after that.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Coz, of Tony in general and the adjustment to the big leagues? Because college is so incredibly different, and I feel like we've seen it a little bit already. He tends to wear losses, which is not a bad thing by any stretch. But in the MLB, you're going to lose. Even the best managers lose 60 or 70 games a year. That's going to happen. So how does he adjust to just getting used to, at times, losing? Just because you play 162 games a year. It feels like through 2 games, maybe there's already a little bit of this roster pressing. And you can't have that. Otherwise, that's when a 2-game streak turns into a 5-game skid.
Well, didn't we hear him say it after the last game? He said there's a lot of emotion going on in that locker room right now. In that clubhouse, guys are gripping the bat a little bit tighter. We heard him address it immediately and said, hey, this is all on me right now. This is all on me. And I think you're right. I think he is wearing it. And I think it's fair to say, guys, that was going to be one of the first big questions we were going to have answered. How is he going to handle the daily grind? The college grind, he knew about that. He knew how to handle a few days off, get ready for a weekend series, maybe have a couple games in the middle of the week. Sure, you go down to Florida or wherever you go when you have spring ball and you have a bunch of games in a row, but you always have time off, and your athletes also have time off, and your athletes, in some cases, are also students. So he had that to deal with. Now it's baseball, followed by baseball, followed by baseball, followed by meetings, followed by baseball. So the grind, I think, is something he's going to greatly have to adjust to, and it better happen quickly because this is a big boy sport. No one in that division is going to sit back and say, hey, let's take it easy on the Giants while Tony V gets used to what it's like to play 162 games. They are going to jump on the Giants as much as they can. That's the first part. But the second part he's going to have to adjust to, and I think this is equally as important, is he's not the final decision maker on talent. He is going to be given talent. He's in the room when they're making decisions on who to put on the roster. He's maybe part of that decision-making process of the lineup because we know everybody has data points that they utilize for the lineup as well. But he's not the guy doing that. So I wonder what that chemistry is like for him, knowing that, well, Buster Posey has an infrastructure of people giving him talent. Now let's see how he can take other people's talent and mold them into his style of baseball. I think those, to me, are the two biggest questions. And I think the first one we're starting to see play out pretty quickly. When you don't score runs in your first two games, it's magnified. So let's see if he can pick up that attitude. He's a real gung-ho, take charge, gung-ho, rah-rah guy. That also doesn't play well for 162 games. So it's that mental attitude that he's going to have to stay medium heel for a longer period of time. We'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, and again, because you kind of mentioned it, the rest of the league, they're not going to take pity on the Giants. They're trying to break in a new manager here. So they are going to have to play baseball games. They are going to have to win baseball games. And this schedule, to start off the first month and a half, there is very little chill in this schedule. You got the Yankees, the Phillies, the Padres, the Dodgers, the Reds. You got the Marlins and the Rays mixed in there as well. But until May, midway through May, the schedule does not let up. This is all to say, there's still expectations around this team. We had Dave Fleming join us on the Morning Roast on Wednesday, and we asked him, do they need to make the playoffs this year to be successful? He said yes, because, again, this team has one playoff appearance since the calendar flipped to 2017. So there's definitely some urgency there. When you look at this roster and when you look at the realities that we're dealing with, though, do you kind of agree with that fact that the Giants even still kind of have to make the playoffs this year for it to be a success? Or is there a scenario where maybe the Giants fall short of the playoffs, but there's still things that took part this year that make you say, you know what, there's still some successes we can point at this year?
Here's why I like that Dave said, yes, they need to make the playoffs. Because I think, and you guys know this sitting where you are and having lived through what we all lived through in the Bay Area, the Giants set the standard when they won 3 World Series. Mm-hmm. They set the standard when they would make the playoffs even when they didn't win the World Series. When they won, 103 wins, and they got screwed by a bad call by the umpire. If we only had the umpire's challenge on balls and strikes that year, that might have changed the outlook of that entire playoff run, quite frankly, on the 103-win season. But I like that he said, yes, you've got to make the playoffs for it to be a success, because that's a standard that they want to hold, right? And you have to live up to that. You might as well state it. Don't back into the playoffs. Don't sneak your way in. Don't be a sandbagger to get yourself in. Don't say, golly, don't Lou Holtz your way into it and say, golly, gee whiz, I can't believe we're winning games. Right. Set the standard, and I think it's important that, to get back to Tony V, I think it's also important for him to know that's the standard in San Francisco. The Giants are expected to be a playoff team. And, yes, I do think when you look at pluses and minuses, when you look at success rate, the Giants are an organization that have made some pretty smart moves. They've made some investments in this, and I think they can sit there and say, yeah, I get it. The Dodgers have the largest payroll, and they added more power in the lineup in the offseason with free agent signing, and they've got great pitching. But we feel we can play at that level, and not just one team from our division can get into the playoffs. We want to be that other team. So, yes, I think it's important they make the playoffs, but I think it's even more important that organizationally they say it out loud. That is our goal, because there are some teams, guys, there are some teams that are in rebuild mode, and there are some teams that would never utter the P word, let alone the World Championship conversation. So I give the Giants credit for openly saying, playoffs are bust for us. That's what success means for the San Francisco Giants.
The great Jim Kosmo with us here on the River Islands guest line to help us celebrate the Freedman's Appliance once yearly red tag clearance sale going on. It started yesterday, but today and tomorrow you can stop in, take advantage of factory direct prices, one-of-a-kind opportunities, special pricing on floor models, and convenient financing. Plus, save on new appliances from trusted brands like Miele, Bosch, Electrolux, LG, and Maytag, just like Coz has recently. Coz, I can't let you get out of here without asking you about Steph and the Warriors. I know things are not great right now for the Warriors, and they're fighting just to be a play-in team, which they will officially be as of a couple of days ago. But Steph has missed about 2 months now. I'm not asking you what you think is going to happen or what you think the Warriors will do, but if you were in charge of making decisions, would you bring Steph back for what is likely going to be just a play-in game or two, and that's it?
It would be, if he can play, it's a sacrilege if you don't bring him back. And I'm sorry, but you owe it to Steph Curry to allow him to say, yeah, I'm healthy enough to play. Even if he says, you know what, I can't play 38 minutes. I can't put 40 on the board for you. But he's so effective in what he does, and he's so instrumental to the Warrior brand that I think you have got to play the guy if he's able to play. Obviously, if he's not 100%. Obviously, if he doesn't feel that he can do things, that you don't put him in a position where he's going to further injure himself or put himself in a position to embarrass himself. But I would say that, listen, that's part of the brand. You say Golden State Warriors, you think Steph Curry. And I think you want your best on the floor when it's go time. And I don't care if you're a play-in team or if you're the 2 seed, you get your best players out there when they can. And so my thing would be, yes, if he can play, you play him. And to me, that's good for basketball. That's good for Warrior fans to see him because you don't know how long the wick is on that candle, do you? I mean, you just don't know. I want to see more of it than less of it.
Hey, Coach, I got to say, before we get you out of here, I was watching, of course, the Winter Olympics pretty intently, and you were bringing me all the curling action.
Oh,
shout out the Hammer. Some amazing comebacks late in games.
There's some drama, too,
right
even.
Terminology by the U.S. women's team. I remember some of those ones. I just wanted to say, I was thinking of you as I was watching all those curling matches.
You know, that's very gracious of you to say. It was my 8th Olympics. It was my most fun Olympics, and it was a great run by a number of teams. So thanks for pointing that out. And I will say, Sam knows how much I love the guy. He's a lover, not a fighter, but Sam knows how much I love the guy from when I used to work there. And I know, Mark, you don't know me quite as well, but I'm a big fan of yours as well. And all I have to do is look at your resume because I know someone else who was doing radio pre- and post-game shows for a pretty good team in his past, and things worked out pretty well. And that's what I did. That's how I started, and things worked out okay. I got news for you. You got bright things in your future. I can promise you that. I love listening to you guys on the weekend because I still use the app. I listen in. I hear what you guys are saying. But, Mark, I'm a big fan. So good luck and congratulations to both of you guys. I think you're crushing it. I really do.
I appreciate that, Coach. All I will say is if in my future I have a kitchen full of Friedman's appliances, then I know that I did something right.
You made it.
Do it. Hey, if you're driving right now anywhere near Pleasant Hill, if you're on 680, stop on by, even if it's just to try the food. But you've got opportunities to see how those different appliances work in real time. It's unbelievable. They've got a Thermador stove that if you take a paper plate, put chocolate chips on it, put the burner on, it will melt the chips and not burn the paper plate.
Wow, that is
fine.
That is pinnacle technology.
I'm telling you. That is. I know you guys got to get up to the break, so I got to run, but thank you very much.
I got one last question for you. One last question. I can't let you get out of here because I know you live in Nashville, and this past Tuesday, I got to know, did you get down to the arena to see the Predators and the Sharks? Have you been staying up late to watch the Macklin Celebrini show at all?
Yeah.
Again, it seems like the Sharks are going to fall short of the playoffs, but I'm loving the direction of this organization, led by Macklin, by Will Smith, all the other guys on this team. How are you feeling about this Sharks team right now?
I'm a huge fan. Now, I've got tickets for the next time they come in, which is April 13th, a Monday. I had to miss the last one because I had a previous engagement, but yes, I am staying up. I'm watching them every night. I actually made the trip to Calgary to see the Sharks play the Flames, and a trip to Seattle to see the Sharks play the Flames. Got a chance to meet Macklin. My daughter is a big fan, so I said the Sharks are one of the best organizations in all of the NHL, and they were nice enough to get us to meet Macklin, meet Will Smith, get their autographs on my daughter's jerseys. So it was a great thing, and I agree with you. The future is bright. The future is teal, guys.
Yes,
the Bay Area is just lush with great sports teams, and the Sharks are going to be the next it team. And by the way, shout out to Robert Saleh, my new Titans head coach here in Texas.
There you go.
Absolutely. Coach, we appreciate the time, and we'll catch up with you for the next red tag clearance sale here at Freedman's.
Sam, thank you so much. I'm a big fan of both of you guys. Enjoy your time at Freedman's this weekend, and thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much,
We're
Coz.
big fans of yours too, Coz. That's the great Jim Kozamore here on 95.7 The Game, helping us celebrate the Freedman's Appliance once yearly red tag clearance sale. Again, you can stop by, take advantage of factory direct prices, one-of-a-kind opportunities, special pricing on floor models, and convenient financing. Plus, save on new appliances from trusted brands like Miele, Bosch, Electrolux, LG, and Maytag, just as Jim Kozamore has done. Always great to talk to Coz.
Oh, I love talking to Coz because you can talk about anything with him.
Oh, yeah.
He's
including curling in the Olympics.
Exactly. Oh, I remember when he was doing the Summer Olympics in 2021, he was on the badminton beat. So he was calling a lot of the badminton matches. And so when he is, because I think he did, he would still do some shows during that time. And yeah, I love chopping up with Coz about all the various dramas that go on with badminton there. So
there was some drama in curling this year too.
Well, yeah, it was the Swedish team, right? They got into a tussle with someone over. You touched the stone a little too late as you were throwing it, and this is what we need. This is how you get curling on the map. Get us some drama, get us some strife, get us some countries kind of yelling at each other over this. People love drama, Grandy. When you bring drama to curling, you get a little bit of magic there. So
it is interesting the way Coz answered the Steph Curry question. I asked him if he would bring him back, and he said if he can play, it's sacrilegious not to. And frankly, I agree with Coz. If Steph is 100% able to play, then you play him, and I don't think it really matters what's on the line. Steph is one of those guys that is the craziest competitor. Right now, there's some drama happening in Milwaukee because Giannis wants to play, but the Bucks don't want to play him, and you can understand both sides. Giannis is a basketball player, and he likes playing. He wants to play, but the Bucks are probably trying to trade him this offseason, and they don't want him, who's already been hurt multiple times this season, to get hurt even more.
Yeah.
The Warriors are worried about him getting hurt and it ruining next season, but of course they have no plans on trading Steph Curry, so that's not one of their reasons for not wanting to play him. I think...
remind me again, what was Giannis's injury again?
Oh, he's been dealing with multiple injuries.
Yeah, okay.
The current one, I can find it out for you. He had a core issue earlier. He had a calf issue. I can find this one exactly. Where are the...
There are the Bucks. Right there. Down. There we go. Because, with Steph, it's just the knee with him. It's an injury that's not considered, terribly serious, but there is a process that goes through in terms of kind of getting him back healthy, making sure he's ready to go. We've talked
got a knee issue right now. Okay. Giannis does.
So we've talked to Doc Pandy about it. There's always the threat that it lingers, but I don't think this is a thing that if Steph has if his season ends on April 14th or whatever that 9-10 game is, he's then going to have, a good, really quick math here, 6-7 months. 6 months. Really, 6 months. To put that knee on ice and get it healthy.
I don't think the issue is the runner's knee. We've seen in the last couple of months 2 Warriors players suffer injuries that are going to keep them out for big chunks of next year too.
And I think that's a lot of people. I think were the feeling that when Moses Moody went down with his knee injury, immediately after you're done thinking about Moses, you immediately pivot to, well, God, could you imagine if that happened to Steph? What would that be like?
No, I could not imagine.
No, that would be one of the worst thing to ever happen in Bay Area sports if that were to happen. And so there just becomes this whole you see one guy go down, you get overly protective of another guy, and I'm curious if it comes down to a showdown where it's Steph says I want to play, and the Warriors, front office and brass and decision makers that be say, you know what, Steph, we're looking at big picture here. 2 or 3 games and a loss to the Blazers in the play-in tournament, it's not really worth your time. I don't know how that conversation goes.
Yeah,
I really don't. I don't know who I would side with there.
I think the reason that the tone from the Warriors has changed this week, and it has changed in my opinion, it's changed from, Steph's coming back to, well, if he comes back, it's not because they're scared about him getting hurt further or suffering a new injury. That fear is always there. It will always, every time an athlete takes the field, there's a chance that they suffer a serious injury. I don't think the Warriors are reacting to Moody's injury. They're reacting to Steph's knee, not reacting the way they expected it to. And now there is clear uncertainty about whether his knee's even going to be good enough or healthy enough. I think they've always, and the Warriors are not, I don't think there's tanking in this organization's DNA.
No, you don't tank when you have Steph Curry on your team.
No, you don't. And I don't, and maybe you would say, well, they're kind of tanking right now. And, yeah, it's probably just not a purposeful tank, but they are kind of tanking.
It's just called being a bad basketball team.
Exactly. It's an ethical tank, if you want to put it that way.
Ethical
At least
tank. I like that, ethical
over the last
tank.
couple of months, because they're not actively trying to lose, but they're just losing a lot of basketball games. But they have won 3 in a row. So we'll see the way it plays out, but I do think there are serious questions about whether Steiny is even going to be good enough to come back at any point this season. And then you have the whole added question of, well, you don't want to just bring him back for the play-in because he needs to ramp up, or you're running out of time to ramp him up. So we'll see how it all goes. We'll talk more about that as we continue. We've got 30 more minutes left with you here live from Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill for their once yearly red tag clearance sale. We'll talk more about what you can expect when you walk into this place when we come back. It's Lubman and Grandy with you. We're back with more next on 95.7 The Game.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote.
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
March matchups are in full swing, and now you can trade the tournament in all 50 states on Kalshi. Will we see more upsets? Purdue is trading at 31% to beat Arizona tonight. That means a $100 trade pays out $307 if they win. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as odds move, you can buy in and out of your position all tournament long. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FAN to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-708-5977. 800-708-5977. 800-708-5977.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids.
KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Make spring mornings fresh and flavorful at Kiki's Breakfast Cafe. Treat the whole family to fluffy, famously large pancakes and rich, fresh brewed coffee. Fresh starts at Kiki's. Or order to go at Kikis.com. For a chance to win a gift card courtesy of Kiki's, enter at 957thegame.com.
Now back to 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. It's Mark Randy, Sam Lubman with you live at Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. It's their once yearly red tag clearance sale through tomorrow. So if you haven't stopped by yet, you have the rest of the day today and tomorrow. Again, for their once yearly red tag clearance sale, you can take advantage of factory direct prices, one-of-a-kind opportunities, special pricing on floor models, and convenient financing. You can save on new appliances from trusted brands like Miele, Bosch, Electrolux, LG, and Maytag. Again, it's Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill for their red tag clearance sale through tomorrow for the best time to save big on new appliances for your home. Steiny was here earlier checking out the place. We just talked to Jim Kosmo, who's got a kitchen full of Freedman's appliances and is talking about cooking some real nice steak up. I'm a fan of that. We've seen a few listeners that have stopped by and said what's up. Philmo Mike was here. Gene in Oakland was here. A few others as well. We appreciate people stopping by and just enjoying this red tag clearance sale here at Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. We've got about 25 more minutes left with you until we wrap things up. Sam, you got to get over to the ballpark.
Yep.
You've been there for each of the first two games, right?
I have, yeah. I was there.
Yeah, maybe you should not go, because maybe they'll score a run.
I'm the reason,
I
that's
think that's what it is, actually.
I don't know. I almost got taken out. I've been chewing on some sweet tarts here in between breaks a little bit, and right before he came back, one of them went down the wrong pipe, and almost got taken out by a small piece of candy.
That's fun.
Piece of candy. But no, we're good. We persevered.
I think you're supposed to chew those, Sam.
I tried skipping that step, and you're right, Mark. I think step one, eat the candy. Step two, chew the candy. Step three, swallow the candy. It's that second step. That's where I kind of got
It's an important step.
It is. Just,
it's kind of like a baseball player. See the ball and then hit the ball. Hit the ball is step two. The Giants aren't doing step two.
Exactly. They're really struggling to do that. And Tony Vitello met with the media, as he always does before each game.
What did he say today?
In the pregame presser, scrum in the dugout. And he was asked about Willie Adames, and he just straight up said, I think Willie's trying to hit a 5-run home run with every swing. And you mentioned it earlier in his first at-bat of the year.
Yep.
He comes up with first and third, one out. And he has a 2-strike count there. And, he was trying to plant that one deep in the cove when literally a base hit.
A righty going deep to the cove?
or trying to plant it over those flags out in right center field. He was trying to absolutely crush that ball when he didn't really need to. And I asked Tony after the game, how much of a momentum swing was that? And Tony, he kind of like, you never really know because you can't go back and kind of change history. You will never know how things would have unfolded there. But I do like that Tony is kind of acknowledging here that, he's trying to do too much and he needs to kind of dial it back. I mean, this is a guy, you saw it last year when he got off to a slow start. He was wearing it a little bit because I think that contract was wearing on him a little bit. He's in a new space, because he has a whole new fan base last year that he had to get behind him. And eventually I think, the Giants fans, they warmed up to Willie as his bat warmed up as well. But then in this spring, during the drills I saw, the batting practice sessions I saw, I thought he looked great. Everyone looks great against air, though. I love the opposite field hitting that he was doing in batting practice. I think that's something that Hunter Mentz, the new hitting coach, is bringing to the Giants this year, is really kind of drilling in that go the opposite way mentality.
But I haven't seen it.
Well, even though we've only had 4 hits, it's hard to get hits to the opposite field. We've only got 4 of them. But he had 136 in spring, Mark. And again, spring training numbers are spring training numbers. You can take them with a grain of salt. It's not about, putting up good numbers in spring training. It's about getting through it healthy. That's all these guys are trying to do. But then he's, 2 games here off the rip where you can already see him pressing again. We're talking about, Tony, he's talking about, does he need to dial it down? Does he need to dial the energy back a little bit? Maybe it's Willie Adames who right now maybe just kind of needs to Willie, you're going to be fine. You don't need to win the game on one swing in the first inning. Just be you, Willie. You're going to be okay. We saw it last year. It'll happen again this year.
This is something that I've been curious about for maybe the last 5 years, but this trend has been going on for a decade or so now in baseball. I get what you're talking about and what Tony is talking about in terms of Willie trying to hit the impossible 5-run home run. And you specifically say 5-run home run because that's impossible to do. Yep. You're trying to do the impossible. You're trying to do too much. And as a result, you're swinging too big. And there's holes in your swing. And your approach is off. And you're just seeing what you think is a fat fastball over the middle part of the plate. But guess what? It's a slider and it breaks away from you. And you're swinging and missing at strike 3.
Yep.
I get that. But part of me wonders, is that a player pressing, or is that a player who's just following the approach of hitters in the year 2026, which is go big or go home? It's just swing big, swing big, swing big. And for better or worse, that is what baseball has turned to, right? It's two true outcomes. You're either going to hit the ball for a home run or you're going to strike out.
Or you could draw a walk, too.
You could draw a walk.
Three true outcomes.
But that is what baseball is. It's why Luis Ariz is a throwback player because he is just a contact guy, not much of a power guy. He'll have some doubles, of course, but likely just going to flick a ball to right field, to left field, and get on base. And be near the top of the National League in hits if he stays healthy for the majority of the season. He's a throwback. But for most players in baseball today, I don't know if it is pressing or trying to do too much. And it's just the way that baseball has been taught now. And maybe the Giants need to move away from that a little bit. I know Buster Posey is a big fan of the contact approach and moving the line and using the opposite field and taking the single if the defense is giving it to you. If you're holding on a runner at first and the second baseman is playing up the middle, just poke it the opposite way through that big hole on the right side of the infield. So maybe there will be some more Buster Posey influence. But I get what Tony's talking about with maybe a player pressing and trying to do too much. But it's also the nature of what baseball is nowadays.
Yeah, it's almost like kind of baseball involves pressing, so to speak, these days. Like they're kind of intertwined here.
I don't know if it involves pressing, but it's just you're trying to hit a home run with every at-bat, or you're trying to at least take a big swing and get an extra base.
There's a constant go big or go home element there that I think it's very easy how you can kind of start pressing to kind of go big in those situations.
That's
and then
true.
You end up failing, and now you got to go home.
But when the goal from your hitting coach or your staff in general, your coaches, is try to hit an extra base hit, and guess what? If you strike out, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you hit a double 2 out of every 10 times, and maybe you get a single mixed in there as well, then you're
doing pretty
succeeding.
good too. Yeah, you're doing pretty good in that situation too. So again, we saw Willie kind of go through that last year. He eventually came into form. I have full confidence that Willie will do that this year. But Mark, I mean, you bring up, that's just how baseball is these days. 3 true outcomes. The moves that the Giants made this offseason, and by moves I point specifically about the coaching staff, especially the hiring of Hunter Mentz. I do think the Giants are trying to kind of rebrand themselves as a small ball team again. I think they tried to be a power team when Farhan Zaidi was here. We thought that they kind of cracked some special code in 2021 when they set a franchise record with home runs.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is they did not crack any code. They did nothing. It was, I hate saying that a 107-win season is a fluke because you don't just win 107 games on accident.
It was a fluke.
But it was
look
a product
before
of
that season and look after that season. It was a fluke.
It was a product of a lot of career years that you were just never going to replicate here. But what I see with this Giants team right now, I mean, obviously, yeah, Rafi Devers is a power guy, but he's also a guy who can hit it to the gaps, too. He's also a guy who I think is going to be putting a lot of balls out in front of that 415 sign out in right center field and doing damage that way. I do think that the Giants right now are trying to get back to that mentality that they had from 2009 to 2015, where the focus is on the pitching, where the focus is on the defense, where the focus is on moving the line along with the lineup here. Now, there's still a ways to go. The pitching still needs some work.
I was going to say,
the defense, as crisp as it was in the spring, has not looked crisp at all in these 2 games here. It's still a work in progress a little bit, and I think that's a frustrating thing because it feels like it's been a work in progress for the last several years. But, Buster, he's got to have to flip this team a little bit from the Farhan years into this team that he's trying to build now that is more contact heavy than the power, go for broke attitude that the Farhan Zaidi Giants had.
If the goal was to get back to what worked when they were winning championships, and you're right to point out pitching specifically, but also defense, and that's what the intended goal of this offseason was, then I think I can just flatly say it was an absolute abject failure in doing that.
I think part of it is also
they signed Tyler Malley and they signed Adrian Hauser, and you're relying on both those guys to make 30 starts this year, and the same thing to go with Landon Roop, and you got questions everywhere in the bullpen. A work in progress is right, but for me, the work hasn't really begun that much.
Well, I think part of it also, and Buster has said this, it's some of these younger pitchers need to step up. Trevor McDonald and Carson Wisenhunt, I think those are your next 2 guys up as far as your young starters down in AAA Sacramento. And I think Trevor McDonald, every time he's taken the mound, he looks promising. He had a pretty solid spring. Wisenhunt, I think there's still some refining there, but he's got a lot of potential too. I mean, what was that Giants run built off of? Homegrown pitching. Lincecum, Kane, Bumgarner, Jonathan Sanchez, Ryan Vogelsong, if you really want to get nitty-gritty with it.
I don't qualify him.
I like to do it just for fun, though. But no, it was homegrown pitching that carried that team. Homegrown relievers that carried that team for the most part. Actually, not all their relievers were homegrown. And that's where I think it becomes incumbent on. I think when you look at the Hauser and Malley signings, there are short-term stopgap options until Wisenhunt, McDonald, maybe it's Carson Seymour works his way in there. Maybe Blade Tidwell at some point works his way into that conversation as well. Keaton Wynn's being used as a reliever now. I think that's probably going to be his future. I don't know if he's a starter anymore, but the Giants have young pitchers in their system that they're counting on to eventually rise up to major league level and take some of these starting pitching spots. One of them need to step up, though, and I think that's kind of the challenge that Buster's putting out there. And something I do like about Buster early on is he's not afraid to challenge his players. We saw last year, it's time to go, that famous speech before they went on that 5-game winning streak there back in May. 5 games as if that means something. So he's not afraid to challenge his players, and so that's what it's about. If you're going to develop a homegrown core, you need these homegrown players to start leveling up. And that's what we need to start seeing this year at the minor league levels, is for these minor league players to start leveling up and pushing for spots on this big league roster, because you have, for the most part, a win-now core in Devers, Adames, Chapman, Jung-Hoo Lee, Elliot Ramos, Logan Webb, Robbie Ray. You need to start supplementing them now with some young, controllable talent to help get these guys to the next level. Dare I say, it's almost like the Giants have their own 2 timelines that they're trying to work on here.
What's the second timeline?
Well, they do. I think I said you have a win-now core. They are trying to win now, but they're also trying to develop their minor leaguers to get up and start contributing to the big league roster.
Yeah, that's probably the reality for every major league team every year.
It's easier to do than baseball than it is in other sports.
Yeah, you are constantly doing that. But I think what I would say for the Giants, and it's the reality, and it's not Buster's fault because Buster hasn't been in charge for a while, and the minor leaguers that are impacting your big league club, or the guys that are graduating out of your system into your big league club now, are guys that were drafted like 3 or 4 years ago. So the lack of those guys are not on Buster at all, but because of the way that Farhan, frankly, failed at developing the minor leagues and your farm, to me suggests that you're quite a ways away from this team having your true homegrown feel to it, like 2010, 2012, 2014 did. Those teams were homegrown, supplemented by Hunter Pence, supplemented by Marco Scudero, supplemented by Jake Peavy and Tim Hudson, who come the postseason weren't much, but they got you through that 2014 regular season.
Peavy's always that game one against the Nationals.
But like, I think the Giants are far away from being a team that you feel like is homegrown. They need more of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Guys that are everyday players right now, and we don't even include pitchers because the only one there is Logan Webb. I get Landon Roop as well. But in terms of guys that are regularly in your starting lineup, defensively and offensively, that are homegrown, like, you got Patrick Bailey right now. You've got Elliot Ramos right now.
That's it, yeah.
That's it.
No, and that is...
Bryce Eldridge, eventually, he's going to be the flag bearer for that. That's why there's so much pressure on him. But this team is not homegrown at all.
No.
And the Giants fans and baseball fans in general love to yell at the Dodgers for having a lineup full of non-homegrown players. Guess what? The Giants have the same thing. It's just the Dodgers' non-homegrown players are the best players in baseball. And the Giants are pretty good, but not nearly on that level.
Well, even a few years ago, I mean, the Dodgers used to have a lot of homegrown talent, and they replaced that homegrown talent. You know, they leveled up from homegrown talent to whatever talent they want. The Dodgers are a Death Star. They operate in a completely different universe as the Giants.
Oh, yeah, and you can't follow their plan.
No, not at all. Well, the Giants tried to follow their plan. That's why they brought Farhan Zaidi in there. They thought that he could bring...
That's not the Dodgers' plan anymore, though. The Farhan, that's long.
Well, no,
gone.
you have to build up into that, though. The Dodgers kind of like Farhan was supposed to kind of, they'll help set the foundation that the Dodgers once
supposed
had.
to build up the farm system so you can have endless ammo to go out and acquire star players like the Dodgers always do.
And that's been the rub of the Dodgers. That no one ever talks about.
Trading for Scherzer, trading for Trey Turner, trading for Mookie Betts.
I mean, Mark, you go back to, I think 2008 is the last time you could find a farm system rankings that had the Dodgers outside of the top 10. The Dodgers have very sneakily, over the last 17 years now, had one of the best farm systems in baseball.
That is the underrated key to their success, because everyone will just say, well, it's L.A., they have crazy TV money, so they can sign Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani and all these players to Kyle Tucker, to Edwin Diaz, any of these players, they can give them as much money as they want. And that is all true, but how did they get Mookie Betts?
Trading him.
By having enough good prospects that they felt comfortable parting with because they still knew they had others.
Exactly.
If the Giants were to part with their best prospects, guess what? They have nobody that they think can make the Major League team.
Yeah, no, so like if it comes up this season, like if Paul Skeens hits the trade market, the Pirates decide to put him up for...
You'd have to trade away from your big league club to get enough
Well, I mean, Bryce Eldridge is going to be a part of that deal,
absolutely.
too. By the way, I would absolutely make that deal if Skeens becomes available.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Cross that bridge if we get to it.
He's the most valuable asset in baseball right now.
But that's why I think it's a process here, Mark. What the Giants are trying to do is... step by step, they're trying to build this thing back up to get to where they were during those championship years. The reality is it's not going to happen overnight. The reality is it's probably not even going to happen this year. I think with this core you have right now, as win now as I say it is, that is this core right now is win now in that they can win now. They might not win now, but they can. It's more or not less this... And Shasky calls this the nobility of competing. I think just with the Giants, they have this expectation that, as Coase said, you always should be trying to push for the playoffs here. That's the franchise, the organizational standard that they operate with. When you're wearing the orange and black, you're thinking about trying to make the playoffs. If you fall short, so be it, as long as you try. That's what this group currently is right now. Of they might be able to get to the playoffs. They might do something when they get there. But at the same time, while this is going on, we're going to keep building up the farm system and trying to inject some of this young talent into this current group that we have right now. It's just not going to happen overnight. It's going to start off with Bryce Eldridge. At some point, Carson Wisenhunt's going to be in the rotation this year. And if both of those two start playing well right off the bat when they get up here, you're going to be feeling mighty fine and happy about where this Giants organization's going. Just got to get there, though, and that's just, unfortunately, the long, kind of grueling process that baseball is.
I'll tell you what, Bryce Eldridge could do what all the Giants hitters are doing right now.
He could, yeah. But with Giants, with the current Giants hitters,
he could go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
But when Rafi Devers goes 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, you're thinking, well, you know what? Rafi's established. I know he'll come back tomorrow ready to go. If Bryce Eldridge goes 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, it's like, dude, you've been doing this for 3.5 minutes. Like, I hope this isn't who you are. So Bryce Eldridge, he needs to eventually establish a track record. There's things that they probably want to iron out in his swing down to the AAA level. They want to make sure he's getting consistent at-bats. And again, I don't know how much the extra month in AAA really does help if he is up at the start of May or what have you. But it's another thing. When he does get up here, there's always a chance he just hits right away and he's everything that we've always dreamed to be. The reality is it's got to go up and down, side to side, back and forth. It's never, ever linear. And I think that's what this season is about for the Giants. There's going to be a lot of just non-linear development that it's going to be grueling to watch at times, but it's the natural process of what this team needs to go through to get to where they want to go. It's an ugly process, but it's a necessary process.
Let me ask you this, and we've got like 3 minutes left until we get out of here and Sam scurries on over to the ballpark.
I'll help you pack up a little bit. I don't want to do that.
You're good.
Okay.
The Giants right now, maybe there's Devers dealing with a minor injury, and that's why he's not playing first base.
Well, it's the hamstring. The hamstring's fine. I think it's more they didn't get him enough reps at first base in spring training, so they want to ease him into the first base there. Everything I've heard, though, I believe the hamstring is not – they've moved past that being an issue.
So for whatever reason, he's not playing first. But
yes.
Casey Schmidt has started all 3 games. He's starting today at first base. Casey Schmidt is a good defender, a good infielder. A better second baseman or shortstop, probably even third baseman than first baseman.
Yeah.
Luis Ariz he's been honestly not bad defensively so far in the first couple of games.
Tested very little, though.
Yeah, he had, nice play at the plate, got the force out at home, like whatever.
The Jazz Chisholm base hit yesterday. I went back and looked at that.
His range, he does no range.
He should have gotten to
You're
that.
going to miss. You're going to get a lot more hits by opponents because you don't have a rangy second baseman. The question I'm asking is, on a day when Devers isn't playing first, or Eldridge when Eldridge comes up, why is Schmidt playing first and Ariz playing second? Because, frankly, the defense would be a whole lot better if you switch those guys.
Yeah.
If Schmidt is playing second and Ariz is playing first, you have better range at second, and you're hiding one of your worst defenders over at first base. What the point of having Devers playing first is that frees up Gerard Encarnacion to be your DH.
Yep.
So it gets an extra bat in there. So it makes sense when Devers plays first to have Ariz be the second baseman. But when Devers is your DH, why is Ariz playing second base? It makes no sense to me.
The only thing I can think of is that there's a reason why he was here on a 1-year deal.
I'm sure he was promised playing second base.
It's a prove-it deal, and
But I don't think it's best for the team. And frankly, if a player is going to refuse to play a certain spot and it's going to hurt the baseball team, that's not a player that I can get behind.
Well, is it a situation where they made a deal? We want you to we want to give you a fair shake at second base. Are you really going to pivot off of that 2 games into the season?
Well, this is not a full season thing. This is whenever it's Casey Schmidt that's in the lineup because Devers can't play first.
Oh, again, maybe that's something that they're going to explore later on in the year. Maybe it's just one of those things they just don't want to pivot off of that 3 games into the season. You cannot like it. I agree with that sentiment.
I'm operating under the assumption that for the majority of the season it will be Devers at first, and whenever Devers is at first, Ariz is at second.
Well, then what's going to happen when Eldridge comes up, and it's going to be either Devers or Eldridge at first, and while the other is DHing, then you're stuck with Ariz at second base.
Yeah, which is what you agreed to sign him for. But that's when one of those guys is playing first. But when Schmidt is being asked to play first, why don't you just have Schmidt play second? You're a better defensive team as a result.
No, it's honestly, you're making sense there. I agree with your sentiment. Like I'm giving the other argument just for the conversation.
I agree with you. You don't want to go off it, but it's not like I'm making a season-long decision. I'm saying in the unique circumstances,
that's a good point.
And the circumstances for the first 3 games just happen to be unique.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see how it all goes. Maybe they'll score a run today, Sam.
That'd be pretty cool.
You can't win if you don't score, I think, last time I checked.
So really quick, I told you how many teams had 4 hits in their first 2 games. The Giants are the 16th team in Major League Baseball history to get shut out in their first 2 games to start the season.
Nice.
The last team to do that was the Kansas City Royals in 2023.
Oh, they were terrible that year.
Yeah, they were not very good. But the team that did that before them, Grandy, the 2018 Los Angeles Dodgers.
Shout out Joe Panic.
The Joe Panic home run games. And that Dodger
block beat Clayton Kershaw on opening day.
And then Joe Panic got Kenley Jansen in the 9th inning. Jokingly, they called it the worst 3-game losing streak in Dodgers history, obviously coming off that Game 7 loss to the Astros. But, Grandy, that Dodger team still made it to the World Series. So, Giants, it's not hopeless.
So you're telling me the Giants are going to the World Series?
I'm basically saying you should lock in your futures bets right now. Carter, if you're listening, put it down.
All right, lock it in. Lock it in. Sam Lubman is saying the Giants are going to the World Series.
Not winning it, just going.
Just going. I mean, you're winning the National League.
Exactly.
Is what Sam Lubman says. All right, that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's Lubman. I'm Grandy. We're here at Freedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill for their once yearly Red Tag clearance sale. We may be getting off the air, but the Red Tag clearance sale continues the rest of the day today, plus all day tomorrow. Stop by, take advantage of factory direct prices, one-of-a-kind opportunities, special pricing on floor models, and convenient financing, and save on new appliances from trusted brands like Miele, Bosch, Electrolux, LG, and Maytag. Again, that's Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill, their once yearly Red Tag clearance sale, rest of the day today and tomorrow here in Pleasant Hill. Sam, safe travels to Oracle.
Oh, yeah, I'll... Yep, that'll be safe travels. And I don't know what I was going to say there. I'm
going back to the city. I'm just not heading.
Yeah, I know where you're going the rest of the day, but safe travels with the rest of your day, Mark.
Go back to the office right now to drop all this equipment off.
You are doing too much for us right now. You need a vacation.
Well, go get the Giants a win, Sam.
I'm going to certainly try to.
That's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for tuning in. For my guy Sam, for Zach back in our studios.
Good job,
name
Zach.
Is Mark Randy signing off. We'll talk next time right here on 95.7 The Game.
Aftershock, the West Coast's largest rock, metal, and punk festival, returns to Sacramento this October with My Chemical Romance. When you're gone with what you want to know, we'll carry you. Tool. Limp Bizkit. Pierce the Veil. Plus, Suicide Boys, Queens of the Stone Age, The Offspring, A Day to Remember, Wu-Tang Clan, Sublime, Danny Elfman, Baby Metal, Public Enemy, Circa Survive, and so many more. 4 days, 135 plus bands, 5 stages. Aftershock takes over Discovery Park October 1st through 4th. My Chemical Romance 2.